I am starting to go bald.
Okay.
My hair is thinning at least.
All right.
And it's funny because I used to make fun of my brother for going bald because he was going bald way before I was. I'm the older brother. He's the younger brother. And then I started going bald, or at least my hair is thinning out. I see that I'm in trouble, and a list of an itinerary started to form in my mind. First, I wanted to write a poem about the violence of going bald.
Okay.
Now, okay, you're like, why? What? Violence of going bald? Yes.
Are you?
I think.
Are you? Is
Sorry,
it the
go
front?
ahead.
I just want to ask before to frame it. Do you feel it? Is it like the crown or is it the front?
It's
Or
the
both?
front. It's the front. Thank goodness. Yes, it's thin. It's starting to thin out around the crown, but I've seen my dad's hair at 70, and I have a feeling I'm going to have his hair, and he still has hair. It's just thin, but it's like it's very tasteful old man hair. So I'm kind of like down with that.
So I actually have knowledge about this because my mom is a beautician. If you didn't know this.
Oh, okay. What? Tell me.
Oh, so she said that she learned years ago in school, and I don't know if the science still holds up, but it seems to be in my family that hair skips a generation. So you should have the hair of your grandfather, and the hair of your father will be your kid's hair. As far as that, now that seems too convenient and too perfect, but both of my grandfathers died in their 80s with a full, luscious head of hair. I do not have signs of balding, even though I wear a hat all the time. So I'm just saying the science, at least in my own family, seems to be working out. My father and his brother went bald before they turned 30.
To quote David Hyde Pierce in Wet Hot American Summer, fuck my cock. No, but like I want to write a poem about losing your hair.
Okay.
And because I just feel like, and the poem is about the violent aspect of losing hair. And when I use the word violence, it's a weird word to use when you talk about going bald, but it's a very violent thing that happens to you, and you don't even realize that. It's like,
because it's so unfair.
It's, you know what? It's not that it's unfair, because I always said, I was like, if I had a feeling I was going to go bald, and I said, when the time comes, I'm just going to go all natural. I'll bald as I will. I'm not, I have a big nose, okay? And it was bigger when I was even skinnier. When I weighed 130 pounds, my nose was really big. And now that I've gotten fatter as I've gotten older, my cheeks have filled out. My nose looks more proportionate to my face. I never got a nose job. I didn't care who made fun of my nose. I said the same thing about my hairline. Whatever will be, will be. I must love myself for who I am.
Absolutely.
However, when it starts to happen, it is like this reality check of like, fuck, I am fucking getting old. Like this is end times, man. I mean, this is the end game. Like this is not, you are not going up, you are going down. And so there's like a violence to that. There's like when you look at yourself, it's brutal. It's brutalizing. No matter how okay you are with it, mentally, in your heart, it really hurts. And that's me.
Cronenberg was right. Like we are just decaying flesh. And when you cross that 35 barrier, you start to realize that was the correct sentiment all along. Like you kind of don't believe it. You never believe you're going to fall apart, but you just start to. I don't have my hair falling out, but I can feel it. I'm 39. I can feel
scary.
I can feel my joints, and I can. It's scary, man. But what are you gonna do? It's
violence, dude.
Yeah.
It's straight up violence. I know it sounds like a weird word to use. It's a violent sort of thing, and I always, a part of me is like, maybe you should grow your hair really long. When it gets too long, when it's time to like stop trying to keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
Just embrace it, shave around your head, and then do the middle school gene teacher comb over. Like super serious. Wear it serious. Wear it from the bottom of your balls. Wear it. Like, now, this is really who I am and how I dress.
You're a family man, though. And the only reason I'm asking this is, would you walk around public with that comb over with your family? Would you do that to your family?
I would commit with full conviction in my heart, no matter how embarrassed my wife and children are. I would do it. I would really, really, really do it. and like deadpan, like, why are you looking at me funny? Like, this is who I am, and just like totally like Andy Kaufman style, like conviction with the joke.
I mean, also, I mean, the thing with hair is, I don't know if Jeff, I've never looked this up online, but I've got to imagine there's like a hair positivity movement, right? If there's body positivity, right?
Yeah.
Hair loss is not something a human being can control. You should not look down or treat people different for their hair, right?
Of course not.
There's got to be a movement of some sort to like treat people the same no matter what their hair is.
There's also the part of me that's like, well, there are the hair treatments have gotten so advanced.
Yeah, they have.
Advanced that like I'm at a crossroads where if I did do something about it right now, I'd probably like keep more hair than I would if I didn't. Mm-hmm. So I'm considering, and like where that might have brought me great shame in my 20s, like I really just don't give a shit. I might just do it and I don't really care. Here, I'm talking about it on a podcast that'll be on the internet. Like I really don't give a shit. So
you don't give a shit that you might do it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't give a shit if I do it. I'll talk about it. I don't care. It's not something, like as I said, I don't want to embarrass people that are around me, but I know people who are very like embarrassed about that sort of thing, and it just would not. I wouldn't want to describe the person and embarrass them further. But for me, it would not embarrass me. I would just go with it.
You mean? Going bald would not embarrass you, or getting the treatment would not?
No, getting the treatment would not embarrass me. Okay. Either way, what I'm trying to mentally prepare myself. I'm shocked by the hair loss, but I am mentally accepting of being bald, or I am mentally accepting of trying to do some preventative care and see where we go.
Either way,
realizing, yeah,
I think that the life. This is a good kind of slow transition to what I kind of wanted to talk about first.
Sure.
With the life that you lead, this is a compliment. You're an artist. You're a streamer. I mean, you can look however you want. You can wear hats for the rest of your life too. Nobody's going to say anything about it.
Sure, I can just wear a hat. No, people know. You know what? No,
you're a hat guy.
I'll tell you, that's more embarrassing. Being a hat guy is more embarrassing.
I'm a hat guy.
No, that's not what I mean though.
Yeah.
When you know someone like Brett Michaels. Yeah, when you're Brett Michaels, like quite clearly hiding something, like it's really goofy. Like that makes you.
Okay,
you know what it does? It makes it look like you care.
Though.
It makes it look like you care.
He's wearing obviously wearing a wig with a bandana. That I can't imagine.
I love it so much though. I love what he does.
I mean, it looks what
it's
it looks
amazing.
Like.
It's amazing.
What I'm saying is that you can still be a artist and have your look as you do on your show.
Yeah.
And your hair doesn't matter because you can just have a hat on. So
I could just endlessly wear a hat, but
I like wearing a hat, as everyone knows. I enjoy it.
Me too. I've always have since I was 16.
It feels like I'm completely dressed if I have a hat on. Even though I'm wearing this type of hat, that's a very 1950s sentiment, isn't it? Like, how men used to just wear hats all the time,
fedoras, yeah,
fedoras and stuff. Like, I don't want to wear a fedora, but I do generally feel complete when I'm wearing a hat in public.
Well, that's a very douchey thing. It's a very douchey thing to wear a fedora now. You could
I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I don't like that look, so I don't want to do that. But I do have the same religious devotion to wearing a hat as a businessman of the 1950s. That's all that I share of a businessman of the 1950s.
Your show has started, right?
Yeah, we're recording. This is all in the show.
Yeah. What? Wait, you're recording this? What?
Yeah.
You serious?
Come on, please. You know.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. This is Jeff. I can do anything I want on this show. That's why
you can do anything you want. Okay. So
because I didn't have a show where I could just talk about shit.
Okay. So I have this sort of happened. I can't describe it. I'm just gonna put my heart on my sleeve here for a second.
I mean, you've already talked about going bald. Anything else you do? Unless you get naked on here, that's about all.
No,
you got,
I wrote a song called Shrimp Night for the show.
All right,
it's an a cappella.
Okay,
and there are
this will be the
lyrics.
Third Shrimp Night song technically, because
you're kidding me.
Well, my friend Mike wrote the opening and the closing Shrimp Night songs.
Right.
So this is technically the third Shrimp Night song to ever exist.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that. No, this isn't like a theme song. I see what you're talking about. You're talking about the themes. No, I'm not. No. This is not a theme. This is just a song for Shrimp Night. It is
Okay.
a Shrimp Night song, not a theme song.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's why I was like, you're kidding me. 3 people have written ode to Shrimp Night.
not guess.
Okay,
Just,
okay,
I get
it.
I asked my friend to do it.
No,
yeah.
I'm not talking about a theme song. I'm talking about like an ode. Like I wrote a song for Shrimp Night. Ready?
Shrimp Night by Jeff
It's very
Frumess
short.
of YouTube.
Actually, it's Do You Remember Shrimp Night? That's the name of the song.
Do you remember Shrimp Night by Jeff Frumess
Yes, ready?
of YouTube fame?
And the melody is not entirely mine. I actually stole it from another band slightly.
What band?
They're on my Spotify playlist. It's actually a song called Crystal Nights.
Okay.
It's a really great song. All right, ready? I'm going to sing it.
Alrighty, go for it.
All right, I've never sung this before, so ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, Jeff. Go for
Doom,
it.
doom, 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 doom. Do you remember when Bob Rose asked you to come on to the show? I want to go to Shrimp Night. Shrimp Night. Do you remember when corn was buttered from the bottom of the barrel? Do you remember when hit movies featured improv from Will Ferrell? We gotta talk on the show because I want to go to Shrimp Night. Shrimp Night. Wow, 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 wow. To Shrimp Night, Shrimp Night.
That's incredible.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jeff. That's the
welcome.
first time I think on any podcast I've had where somebody has sang a song about the show itself. Or the experience of me
You heard the
asking them.
lyrics.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
heard the lyrics, right?
The experience of me asking them to be on the show. Also, you threw in an inside joke in there,
Yes.
which not many people will get, but it's actually about a former guest of the show. And I doubt many people are going to get that, but it's fine.
Hey,
that was good.
they're
Jeff.
on the
Thank you.
outside. Thank you. I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I
Yeah, and I just
appreciate
wanted to I just figured I'd do that. It's like, if you come over to someone's house, you bring maybe a bottle of wine or a bag of popcorn or, I figured I'd bring a song.
Bring a song, man. Okay,
Yeah, why
I
not?
appreciate it.
Why not? That's that.
So with that, because Jeff, you're quite the character, and I love you very much. But
Thank you.
I wanted to say, like, one of the ways that we became friends was basically through. I mean, it was through streaming, through podcasting, basically,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah,
feel like that's
absolutely.
true, right? We met because of film festivals, and then I was on your show. How many times have I been on your show?
Too many to count.
I would say 5 at least 5. So I apologize that you haven't been on mine as much, but it's a different format. Also,
All good.
you stream more than most human beings. So for anyone listening, Jeff is a monster streamer. Like, yeah, I mean, what is it like? Is it like 6 days a week now? You do it constantly. Whenever I look at YouTube, I feel like a new Jeff Frumess is up.
I'm glad to
go.
I'm glad to hear that's what pops up. I literally stream as often as I can when I have an idea. It all starts from having something to say. If I have nothing to say, and there've been many times where I'm like, "Ooh, I want to do a show on this," but I have no way to talk about it,
You have
so
no
I
way
don't.
in.
Yeah, I can only my superpower is that I could talk forever, but I can only talk forever when it's something I have something to say something about.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you usually have something to say, Jeff. Come on.
I do.
You do.
I
you
never
do.
shut the fuck up.
Well,
Never.
One of the things I found interesting, and this might bore anyone listening because it's kind of a technical conversation, but before we get to our main event, which actually is much more like, commercial of an idea, is the fact that I've been podcasting for like 10 years, right? So I've been doing, and now I'm not streaming, but I'm podcasting, which I feel like is nigh the same thing. And and I feel like I'm doing it the old way, and the first person to ever make me feel like I was doing it the old way, like I was one of the old guys of this really new thing, was you. Because when we first started, like, when you first had me on your show, you explained how you were doing things, and I was like,
Right.
oh yeah. And then, like, the fact that you're streaming directly to YouTube and Twitch and whatever else. I know you're like 5 different things, right?
Right.
And you don't have to, like, you're not like making
Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook.
all instantly.
All instantly, and LinkedIn, but then LinkedIn started to.
I didn't even know that's a thing that you could do.
Yeah, I do LinkedIn. It was, yeah.
But here's the thing I found most fascinating about it was just like when you first told me what your whole setup was, I was like, why the hell am I recording stuff, then editing it, and then posting it? I've got all these fucking files loaded up on my computer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing all this extra work, and I'm like, Jeff is doing this like 6 nights a week directly to YouTube, and it's all just there, and that's how it is.
Oh, we're also on Spotify, Apple, every podcasting.
Right, because you're also uploading it to a podcast feed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's okay, but that's not that much work compared to like editing a video.
Well, here's what I basically, the epiphany that I had one day.
Right.
It was like such an organic process. It started, I was making a feature-length film. The feature-length film died as COVID began.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was shooting my follow-up to Romeo's Distress, which is playing at the halfway to Genre Blast Film Festival.
Alamo Drafthouse.
At the Alamo Drafthouse in Winchester. And I'll tell you something.
That's that's the only time we've ever met at that location. That's the only time me and you've ever met in person.
Are you coming, by the way? Are you going to be there?
I'm not going to be there. I apologize.
Oh!
I've seen the movies though. I support.
I know, but it makes me sad.
I know. I want to be there. I just can't.
It's cool, dude. It is cool. I love the scene, and frankly,
it's a great lineup.
I had no intention of screening Romeo ever again in a theater, and then when this was presented to me, like, first of all, it's an honor and a privilege, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity, and I just couldn't say no. How can you say no to that? Especially when that was like my greatest dream when I was making that movie, was like, someday maybe this could play at an Alamo Drafthouse. And like, I forgot about that when when the movie didn't turn into what I wanted it to be. I was like, whatever, this is just whatever it is. And then like now, like full circle, like it actually is playing at an Alamo Draft. It played at the Gateway Film Center, which is a big screen, but this is Alamo, which is my home court.
It feels official too. Yeah,
it feels super official, which is very validating to me.
No, believe me, there's nothing. Every time that Genre Blast has ever shown something I've made, I've been completely honored. And if I knew I could have made it, I might. When Nathan posted about anyone looking to get their shorts up, I might have hounded him, but I was like, no, I know I can't make it. I'm not going to do that. I won't bother Nathan this time. But if I could, I would have.
I love what he does.
He's amazing. I love Nathan.
What he does. I love the community that he tries to foster with him and Reagan and Chad. All of them. Everybody, the whole team. They're phenomenal people, and
that's how we know each other. Is that and Sick and Wrong or Bizarro Land now. Yeah.
Bizarro Land now.
Yeah.
But I was making my second feature. I shot 20% of it. 20% of this movie in the can, and then that was March 8th, 2020. So if you think about that.
Yeah, that was it.
The next weekend, everything was locked down, and I make micro budget films. So what does that mean? It means that I don't have money for PCR, PPP, and again, like I'm also, I'm willing to take risks, but safety to people is the number one important thing, and after doing some exploratory sort of like, how could we make this work? And, having to cast more people that we didn't even cast everybody. I just started shooting because I had been waiting almost 18 months to shoot it. I was like, if you don't start shooting, you're never going to make this movie. So sometimes you just got to start. And that's what I had done with the first movie. So I did that again. And this time we fell in a deep pothole. And then I just, at the beginning of quarantine, the beginning of the lockdowns and stuff, I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go on Facebook Live.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to talk. And before I knew it, I was like, I'm just going to talk for a half hour. That was the plan. Half hour turned into 2.5 hours. It's not the most interesting conversation if you're not a Misfits fan or whatever, but and it literally began like this. I was like, who am I? I'm just a guy who's a fan of this band. That was it. That was the beginning of the whole thing. And I just kept doing it every week, and people kept showing up. And then I switched over to YouTube. I started to realize that, like, you know, my watch time was going up. I had 39,000 watch minutes in 28 days. And I said, I want to get to 100,000 watch minutes. That's my goal. And 2 years later, we just passed 100,000 watch hours.
That's incredible.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. It's not, you know what? It's a tiny milestone. It's not a big milestone, but it's invocative of how if you start doing something and you just keep doing it, and then what you think you're capable of, I'm like, can I get to 100,000 watch minutes? And, you know, getting to a place where it's bigger than that, it means like, okay, I can scale up. I'm going to keep scaling up, you know? And I got to, after 7 months, I got my monetization turned back on. And it was a few months after I had been laid off work. And I was actually starting to, this is the paradox that I'm still stuck in now. I'm making too much money to stop and not enough money to live. Consider to live.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the quandary of every artist who might be making some kind of revenue off of what they do. And then what happened was I started to realize, I'm like, here's how I recontextualize YouTube and all this stuff. What always bogged me down in years past, Bob, I'm just like you. It's like and it's effortless to shoot. It's the editing. I get so mired down and bogged down in editing. And it's also getting set in your ways. You get set in the way of, this is how I do things. This is my workflow. You know, if you're a sound designer who's using Final Cut 7 and Pro Tools, then you're always going to export. You're always going to export to an OMF and bring it into Pro Tools, and then round trip it back and sync up your sequence with, you know, the 3 spots of 60 hertz tone, you know, at the beginning. You know, like, that's just the way you are, and you're never going to change. And what I started to realize was, like, you know, video is video and people watch it. And I had to let go of the preciousness of, like, having to, you know, have a certain standard or edit of things. And I started to really recontextualize what YouTube is. YouTube is, you know, because filmmakers have such a stigma towards YouTube. You and I,
not us, but yeah, but
in general,
it's looked down upon. Yeah,
from the dawn of YouTube. YouTube is an amateur, any man sort of place for weird viral videos. That's not a place for cinema.
It's looked at as a content farm.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's where you go to watch a cat take a shit on a car,
right,
or something like that. It is not where you put something that you made, like art. You don't put art there. Like, you put art on Vimeo, but then again, Vimeo has no traffic.
No, Vimeo has no traffic.
Yeah.
If you put your film, your short film or your feature film on YouTube, like, let's say 10 years ago, nobody's going to take you seriously. What it means is your amateur town, your amateur hour. That's what it means. Right. All sorts of things. And, you know, people were filmmakers, content creators fetishize the distribution deal. Even though they don't make any money for it, because it validates the professionalism of who they are, and it's a status symbol. But the reality is that I bet I've made more money on my YouTube channel than some people have made from distribution deals where they're getting no money guarantees up front with their feature-length films. And I'm not talking about particulars. I'm just making a very general blanket statement
now,
here.
To be fair, and I'm just saying, to be fair, you are making, like, hundreds of hours of content. So while saying that you're making money off YouTube more so than somebody making a distribution deal, you're literally doing it. You're like putting out content constantly, whereas a movie is just 90 minutes or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. Here's my yes.
It's a different beast completely.
But you are right. You are right in that regard. However, However, if somebody has a body of work and has a monetized YouTube channel and is trying to seek traditional distribution means with maybe no money guarantee or whatever, like up front, they are leaving money. They're going to make more money on YouTube with their catalog or with their movies than maybe if they weren't. And you know what I started to realize, in addition to what I started to realize too, is that because traditional distribution is constantly evolving and changing and like dying and mutating and all these different things. And as I told Jay Horton on his show,
I watched
feel
that.
Like, oh, you did? Every time?
Episode, yeah.
Okay, so what the part where I said every time I get to the goalpost,
it changes.
It's like I look up and it's like further out.
Dude, Jeff, like I can't tell you, like 10 years ago, I was telling my other filmmaker friends, I was like, you know, short films are going to be more popular in the future. I used to be like always saying like short, and they were always telling me no one's ever going to care about short films. And I'm like, and I look at it today and I'm like, honestly, I see more short film festivals than I ever have, more short films on YouTube than I ever have, and shorter content is more popular than it ever has been. Good or bad, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's the truth, is it not? That short form content is more popular than it ever has. But I was like told never back then. I was like, no one's ever going to care about short films.
As you say, to take what you just said to me, I'm going to flip it right back on you in the sense of it also depends on what you are going for. Like what your aim as a creator of some kind. What I started to realize is, as I started to see the deal, I did sign a deal with one traditional distributor for my film, and it was absolutely terrible, and nothing was delivered as promised, and my movie never really. Yeah. And the movie never really got out anywhere. And it was just a nightmare. And I was able to get my movie back. And I started to realize, like, again, because my channel is monetized, essentially my partner, I only have one partner that I have to deal with. And it's the slimiest, evil partner of all. But it's a partner where I have like a certain, I have more, there's no middleman. And that partner is Google. In the sense that I put my stuff on my channel, I can control where the ads are. I can control when I release something. I can control the artwork. For the most part, I can control what the content is, like meaning you don't have to worry about like censorship or anything. And I am in complete ownership of that content. I reserve all the rights and everything. And I don't have to, and I can legitimately, I'm now in the biggest marketplace. Because here's the thing. YouTube is everywhere. It's on your phone. It's on the tablet. It's on the TV. You can watch a movie cinematically on your TV on YouTube if you wanted to.
I do. I do.
Right. I have as well.
Everything I buy on or anything I own on my other, or like Amazon or Vudu, it goes to my YouTube account too because I have them all connected. So I do. Sometimes I'll just watch a movie just through YouTube because it's
why not?
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Why not?
I watch YouTube more than I think most stream. Like if you count YouTube as a streaming service, I watch it more than all the official streaming services.
Right. So when you say it like that, and now suddenly I realize, wait a minute. So I'm basically, I don't know if it's larger than Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure it is. It's the single greatest place to watch video content and podcast, like every type of content. And it's directly connected to like Google in the sense that if you put in the metadata correctly, that you're going to show up in Google searches, especially if you're the only one that's talked about this niche thing. So if I'm the only one that talks about the book Teenagers from Mars by the Misfits, then anybody who searches that book on Google, my video is going to be the top search result. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the stuff I'm so long-winded that everything I do is essentially like feature length.
Yeah.
And so if people watch my feature length broadcasts, essentially it's like having hundreds of movies, because a watch hour is a watch hour to YouTube. So in my quest to make actual cinematic feature length films, I'm creating this channel, which is really just a platform for anything that is Frumess that to put up there, and that this is the premier place to go for Frumess shit.
Also, yeah, you know, like you just said too, I knew nothing about the Misfits, But I gotta imagine because of the metadata and stuff, you became sort of the YouTube Misfits guy. Like there are probably a few others.
I'm working there. I'm getting it slowly but surely. Because I'll tell you something. I look at some of the Misfits videos out there, and they have like 100,000 views or 1 million views. And I'm thinking, my God. Like all you need to do is just hit with a couple of these videos. Just wait for the Misfits to do something, and then someone write on like Rolling Stone embeds one of your videos, in that fucking article, and that's what's going to send you skyrocketing. And I realized that like I'm working my way there. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to find one of my videos if you search the term Misfits on the band on YouTube. But like I'm not there yet. There's a long way to go. Last year I did all the math and I completely forgot it. It's somewhere the thing. I calculated how much I streamed for 2021. And to answer your question, I have no set schedule, which is what I love so.
So it's more on a whim than
so
I thought.
Much.
It's like because I always just figure you like plan your week out and you have every subject you're going to talk about.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I set up my shows on like Sunday. I'll set up like 4 or 5 shows, and I'll do it, man. I will stick by it because I'm just I just really, here it is. This is here's my total podcast live streaming on YouTube in 2021. I spent 14,989 minutes, which was 249.81 hours, which was 10.4 days, which was 1.5 weeks podcasting live on YouTube. And
so
then here's you
can watch all your content. To watch all your content for 2021, I could sit there for a week and a half, basically.
Yes. That's just 20
straight Jeff Frumess talking.
That's and that's just live shows. That does not include my uploads because I was making videos on top of that.
Right, yeah.
That does not include all the stuff I was doing for Patreon as well. I was doing separate stuff for Patreon.
Man,
I make stuff for Patreon, and on top of that, it doesn't include all the stuff I did for 2020.
Right,
because that was when I started. So it has been. It's just been like a tour de force. When Scream came out, we did a Scream podcast, and I always put full movie review because I want to get that full movie
thing there.
Yeah, and you want to know what? Whoever has the copyright for Scream I got a copyright strike.
I've had those
and
before.
A takedown on a 2-hour podcast about Scream without a single stitch.
Did you?
Yeah, it got restored.
Restored, yeah, same.
It did, but I'll tell you something. I lost that 14 days after the movie came out, and I got to tell you, I almost wish you could counter them or like sue for like lost revenue.
Loss of revenue, yeah.
Because they issued a takedown copyright notice on a podcast with completely original content. I didn't have a single frame in there. Frustrating.
Now to go with the fact that I've been doing this for so long and I've been clunkily. I got to here right now, this podcast you're on clunkily over many years as everything was sort of coming into its own. I started YouTube when it first started, everything. Like I was there at the beginning of podcasting. I was there at the beginning of YouTube. And now I feel like I've lost a bit of touch of what they are now. But anyway, I used to have this podcast mirrored on YouTube, and one of my movie podcasts got a copyright strike. And I eventually got it removed. So on my main YouTube channel that is for me, that is not where my podcast is anymore, I had a copyright strike and I had it removed. But what I learned was if we put podcast in the title, you don't. I uploaded the same stuff all to another channel, a Bread Fresh channel.
Yeah.
I started putting Thunder Grunt podcast at the end. I've never gotten anything remotely like that. And it's for the same episodes that I got copyright strike for.
Interesting. So I mean, they just blanket it. They should be required.
I'm saying if you put it in the title, it might help.
You're right. And I'll tell you something. I will say this. I have no problem with
that.
What they, with them and what they do. However, here's my criticism of the system. If you're gonna do a takedown strike of someone's stuff, you should have the timestamps. They should make they're just doing it blindly. And if your shit is monetized and if this is how you make a living or this is how money is coming in, that is wrong. That's just not fair.
It's not fair to people who live off of it. You're right. I agree.
It's frustrating.
I'll say this. It's like it's a trade-off, because if you look at some of the stuff Vimeo has been doing recently, I don't know if you've seen any of that, but Vimeo, since they have no ad revenue, they're actually starting to send people who have very lucrative channels on Vimeo, which do exist. There are people that like upload tons of content and actually has traffic. They started to send those people saying, you need to pay us like $32,000 or else we're going to take your whole channel down.
Vimeo.
Vimeo. You can look this up on Twitter. I've seen the screenshots of everything. They have literally been asking people like $16,000 or we erase your whole channel. The reason is because Vimeo has no money. Think about it. There's no money coming in.
Why aren't they doing an ad revenue?
Because that was never their business model. They're the anti-YouTube. But the funny thing is that that's happening, and then it makes everyone else realize like all the shit that you put up with YouTube and the ad revenue and the takedowns and like the music, like music copyright claims. Yeah. The reason that all exists is YouTube couldn't exist without that stuff. It's a give and take. It has to have the ad revenue and the rules for it to be up.
I'm okay with everything.
I know you agree with that. I'm not talking against you on that. I'm just saying what people don't understand about YouTube. I'm appreciating YouTube is that it would be Vimeo if it weren't for that, and it wouldn't work because Vimeo has to pay for all that traffic and all the bit rate and everything to transfer.
Well, you know what I do? All of my streams, all of my streams, I back up onto Vimeo because they delete after 30 days. Yeah. So I've literally been treating Vimeo as an online cloud storage, and I'm beginning to think I might have to additionally back up all my stuff there too. Yeah. Because there might come a day where they try and squeeze me for using too much of their. I've been really abusing it. Like I'm like trying to see how much cloud storage they'll let me. I pay for a pro account. I was going to say you pay, right? Yeah, you pay. Oh yeah. So I mean, I use my point being I get 20 gigs a week and I use it. I make good use of it, and it's great for Patreon too because you could do the password or the unlisted links and stuff. Each are good for separate applications, and I like.
It's always good to have redundancy like too. Okay, so it is a weird conversation because I basically was trying to say like, Jeff, if I was gonna dive in to a new way of doing everything I've been doing, I would use the Jeff Frumess model. Now,
but Bob, why don't you do it?
Number one, because my podcast is several shows, and one of those shows, the most popular one, does not want to use video. Again, it's not me. The other guy, we talked about it, and that's okay.
Yeah, but you upload the audio to YouTube anyway, right?
I do. But this is a show where I have video. I made the YouTube channel. I said, look, if I'm going to make a YouTube channel, I just need to have something with video. So I decided I'll make one show with video. Question.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Live streamed. I can answer.
No. Why don't you clip up the most popular podcast one? It's a movie thing. Why don't you clip it up and put B-roll over it from the movies?
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it.
No.
Honestly, Jeff,
dude, you would. Oh my God! But you would hit such a different market. It would be dude.
I don't think I would, dude.
Also, I think you would take it to the next. It
wouldn't have sound. Number one, it wouldn't have sound. It would just be the actual video,
right? And then you guys talking about the stuff, and then as you're talking, like first of all,
Jeff, no. I am not doing that work. I have been doing this for 10 years, and let me tell you, I've had podcasts that have come and gone, and the reason they failed is that you put too much work into them.
This is why
the only way you get longevity is if it is almost no workflow.
Which is why I started that to circle back around to this workflow. Yeah. I started to let go of the preciousness of needing to edit everything and have everything super polished, and realize that people just want to listen to something.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what it looks like, and it doesn't matter what it sounds like, and you have to let go of certain things or learn how to do them in a live space in a casual way and just go with it, rough around the edges. And as a result, I have become more prolific in these last 2 years than I've been in my entire life. And it's been wonderful.
So
it's been wonderful. I'm very happy. Like, and now I'm on fucking Spotify for the first time. I was making money on Spotify as well. I was
controversial. No, just kidding.
Right.
I don't want to talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
I'm joking. I was joking.
It wasn't just Spotify. It was all the. I was making money from all the. Anchor. I was making money from Anchor, and and now I have video podcasts. So I have video turned on for Spotify. So what I've been doing is it's all about workflow. So I do the live stream, then I take the audio, turn that into a podcast. That goes out. Then I wait about 3 months or so, and then I go back to my live streaming show that I've downloaded, and I make clips, short clips. Because people it's black and white with people.
No, I've seen all the popular podcasts do it. Like,
they all do it.
They all do it.
You either want long broadcasts. Some people like the long broadcast, and some people want 2 to 3 minute, 2 to 20, like in a variables in between of short form video content. You get a new thumbnail. You get a new title, and you get new SEO optimization, right? And basically what you're doing is you're getting a second bite at the apple, and what's ironic is there are certain clips from longer shows where I have like 10,000 views versus 200 views. Like the long version is 200 views, and the short clip
10,000,
is 10,000. And I've made like money. I've made like actual money from the short clip. And so what I do is it's kind of like, I guess my channel is original stuff, and then it's also a clip farm. And, I've had at certain times, I've had 60 videos ready to go. Like, so any day that I don't broadcast, almost every day I have a new upload ready to go with a new thumbnail. I
guess that's my point is you're literally, since you jumped in with Feet First, like 2020, you've literally learned to game the new system that is YouTube. Because YouTube changes, man. They used to be different. I could upload a video I made with my friends in 2006 and get like 7,000 views in a week back then. You know what I mean? And there was less content, but it was also because the algorithm back then was different. It was like, it just was different. Now, it's not the same. It's not the same YouTube that I'm used to interacting with. So I mean, I'm not really doing anything but putting this podcast on. I haven't put anything on my YouTube channel in like 9 months. Like I'm not doing like what you're doing, nor am I really aiming to. I just find it funny that I realized I was getting old because I've been using the internet. In internet terms, I'm old. I've been using it so long, I didn't realize like how to use the new version of it. You know what I mean? I'm saying this on my own podcast, which somebody might be listening to, like, Bob, what are you talking about? I'm listening to your podcast. But the truth is like, I haven't like embraced streaming. I don't even understand Twitch. I don't understand Twitch at all. Twitch makes no sense to me. Yeah,
I just click it. I just click on it, and I have no idea. I don't ever look at it, but I created an account. I created a Periscope account. I said, listen, I might as well be shooting these streams out because the ultimate goal, and the reason why I do everything you just said, the uploading, is I am trying to build my and I'm trying to have my name in every video. Frumess, I want Frumess everywhere, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this something that I could do full time for as long as I can afford to do it full time. Meaning, like, I want to get to a place where I could be doing this as my full time job for as long as the algorithm allows it. And B, I want to create like this. I want to talk about what I want to talk about. And that's what's hurt me. You were talking about the algorithm. So I think one of the reasons why my channel is as small as it is compared to what maybe it could have been is because I don't follow the rules of the algorithm. I do like 5 Misfit videos, which is like my best content. That's the content that people love the most. That's what I mean by my best.
That's also your passion.
It's it's one of my passions, but it's also the bread and butter in terms of like metrics and stuff. And then what happens is I'll be like, oh, you know what? I feel like talking about rent. And so I'll talk about rent. You know what I mean? Or
you know what's funny is you've had me on your most commercial idea episodes, which is like, let's talk about Justice League or let's talk about Cobra Kai.
And those don't do any numbers, but I feel like fucking talking about them. And that hurts me so much in terms of growth. Yeah. But here's the thing. This is my thought in terms of the long game. The long game is that I can't make it about the content. I have to make it about me. I know that sounds self-absorbed and narcissistic. Absolutely. It's not. It's like I want people to come because they want to hear what I have to say and not because I'm talking about that specific thing.
So Jeff, I've gone through a lot of revisions on how my online life is, and you saying that makes a lot of sense to me because a lot of people ask me, dude, I mean, there is a Thunder Grunt Facebook page. There is, but that is from the old days when Thunder Grunt was a different thing. I took it over. But there's not a Thunder Grunt Twitter. There's not a Thunder Grunt Instagram. And I don't talk to anyone online as Thunder Grunt itself as an entity. And a lot of people have asked me why that is. And I'm like, well, I don't really understand why you need to have a Thunder Grunt Twitter account. You know who I am. I'll be linked on everything. You can just find me, and I'm the guy in charge. You know, like, I don't want to ever talk to somebody as a logo. I don't like that. I never have, and I made sure to change all of that because my own personal YouTube channel used to be called Thunder Grunt, and I changed it to Bob Rose, and then I was like,
that was so smart, dude. Yeah, and I love the iconography that you use on your the illustrations.
Yeah, the illustrations.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, yeah, no, like I decided I was like, look, the brand is me. It's just me.
Right.
If you like me, you'll come to it. If you don't like me, don't come. It's not. It's it.
And who cultivated that? Who is the originator, the man who we all take a page from his book in that regard? Who is the originator of that? I know you know who I'm talking about. Fucking Kevin Smith. That's the original guy.
I didn't know you were meant. Oh yeah, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was the first fucking guy to do that. Where it was like you're coming for.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Before my channel was Frumess, it was Video Business Media. Video Business Media is another inside joke. And it's based on a logo.
That name.
Well, this is what's so funny.
That's great.
This is what's so funny because it's a pun on horror business, which is one of my favorite Misfits singles, and it uses the horror business art.
Yeah.
And so when you see it, you go, "Oh, I get it. Horror business, video business." However, when you write video business in plain block letters, it just looks like every generic. It was a serious lesson. And then I realized, growing up, whenever I would show someone Meet the Feebles or a trauma movie or whatever it may be, people had a term for this stuff. Everybody knows me by my last name. They call these Frumess films. Because, for years I was like, what is my company, my brand, my thing? Right. I want to, always, and I'd always change it. Or, I had one idea. Oh, I love the idea of idiosyncratic magic, but that's like 1,000 syllables and very hard to spell,
Exactly, right? Like
you just got to be yourself, dude. Be yourself.
One of the things I'm always trying to do when I do this stuff, God, I don't know how this conversation plays to anyone who's not doing any of this stuff, but it doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Okay, so when I was just transferring my T-shirt store, right, to TeePublic, and I was thinking, should I give my T-shirts an actual...
I saw them. They look great.
Oh, thanks. I'm not even an artist, so if they look good, that's good. I was like, should I give it a name? Should I give the T-shirts their own brand? And I'm like, man, here's the thing. I don't want to be a brand. I have a brand because of the podcast name, but I really don't want to just keep adding brands to every fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like my T-shirts are called this. My podcast is called this. My film company's called this. I'm like, I don't want to, number one, I don't want to keep track of all of that, but I also don't want to just keep putting brand names out into the world.
Or you could just call yourself Bob Thundergrunt. That is what.
Well, I mean, I'm Thundergrunt Bob on Twitter, so
or Thundergrunt Bob.
But I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is they're coming. I want people to come to me as Bob Rose, just like you want people to come for Jeff Frumess, and that's my ultimate goal, which I hope is a much warmer thing. If it gets me less traction online, whatever. I mean, I'd rather be more authentic than I would just be a bunch of logos talking like robots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find that funny. Don't get me wrong. I find it funny. I posted a thing with Mr. Peanut talking to Kraft mayonnaise the other day, and I was like, that's funny because it's so empty. It's so,
we have a very similar sense of humor, as I would learn. I saw your shorts, and I saw some shorts on your YouTube channel, and I was like, fuck, this guy is like my spirit animal. In terms
I'm happy you liked them, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I even down to like we think similarly in a comedic space. Like we had, like I saw there were several bits in yours that were similar to bits that I had in mind, like completely parallel thinking, like totally parallel thinking. But it just was like I was so blown away by that, because I was like I totally understand why he thought of that and like why he thought that was funny, because it's something that I think is funny. Like I totally got it, and it just made me appreciate you so much more than I did. It really, really did. It really did. I loved it. I love that one with the two guys, the two guys in the pie.
I think you meant poetry betwixt friendship.
Yeah.
But
it was so great.
Yeah, but like I think that kind of sentiment that you want to be yourself also comes out in your work. For anyone that wants to be like, I know I make some stuff where you could say I don't know what's happening here, but I'm like, it's coming straight out of my mind. It's authentic coming out of my mind, but it might not be translatable as easily because it's so authentically me. But that, I don't know, I like that. Like I see that in your work too. So, and I think that that also echoes into how we put ourselves on social media.
You know what it is too? Here's the other thing, and this is what really sort of
really sucking our own dicks here, aren't we?
No. This is what really recontextualized YouTube for me.
Yeah.
And the live streaming, I have to look at it. I don't even more so than a podcast. I look at every broadcast that I do, even if I'm just reading from some article. This is a spoken word performance is what this is in a digital space. Instead of going to different theaters and people buying tickets and like standing on a stage and just talking to an audience, that's exactly what this is, except it's on YouTube. It doesn't cost you a dime. You can do it from any which where, and I'm still getting paid because of the ad revenue, So it's like, and the crowd can interact because it's live and people comment. So it's like, it's a new art form, dude. It's like
it's a new art form, but also like, I don't know, but do you ever have this when you watch like a documentary? I love documentaries, but some documentaries now are literally just podcasts. Let's admit that. There's documentaries I've seen, like even on HBO, where I'm like, this is two people talking with B-roll. This is a podcast. Like, it's a nicely filmed, nicely recorded podcast, but if that counts as a film, then half of the things that you do and half the things I do all count as films too. like
HBO is YouTube. We're already on HBO. Just think about. I'm serious. But we're already on HBO.
But I get that. What I'm saying is the actual, like, what counts as a film anymore. Right. Room 237, it is a beautifully made little piece of people just talking about opinions. It's right. I wouldn't call it journalism. I would call it editorials of just guessing about a movie. But in the end, is Room 237 not just a podcast? Couldn't that have just been a podcast?
Easily.
You could do that. We could do that on YouTube, stream directly to YouTube, and it would be the same amount of information. And
you would get the same your audience base if it got picked up in the right way, because that's the thing. Every video that you make, potentially, depending on what you're making it about, could be a lottery ticket of talking about the new type of lottery ticket, where if you get retweeted or embedded in the right spot, that it could elevate your channel. And that's honestly where I'm just waiting around for that to happen, hopefully in some which way, some way that it's going to happen.
I believe it will, because you're there's no way you're shooting so many pieces of spaghetti, one's going to stick.
I hope so. I really hope so. And you know what? Even if it doesn't, even if none of this, all these ideas,
I feel like you would do it anyway, Jeff. You'd love it.
I was about to say,
you'd do it anyway.
I do this because I love it. Same. I don't just do it. I do it because I love it, and it happens to be making money. And you want to know something? This has been the most financially unstable time in my life, and I've never been happier. Never been happier, because you know what? I'm my own fucking boss, and I'm cultivating a very small audience, and I am building myself up in a brand that I've always wanted to do, and I'm fucking happy. And you know what?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's it.
No, and that's palpable as a fan, as somebody who's watched your videos. It's palpable. You can see. I don't think I don't think you would stop if it doesn't work out. Hey, I've been doing this for 10 years. I've lost money. I mean, I did this without all that stuff that you're talking about, and I kept going. So I understand. Would I have done this for 10 years for no reason other than fun?
You do it because you love it.
No, yeah, that's why you do it. I've never made a cent on podcasting. It's cost me money, and I still do it. So yeah, like I totally understand. And I also want to say, like, as while we're sitting here kind of praising YouTube to the end, I want to also note that I do believe YouTube also doesn't make any fucking sense a lot of the time. Like, I'll look up a video of like how to cook ramen at college,
It's it has
like 7 million views, and I'm like, no, I could spend 3-4 years of my life on a film that I truly passionately care about, and what if it's actually good? It's actually awesome. I'll never get 7 million people to watch it like that ramen cooking video.
That's why, and that's why sometimes I'm like, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I love reviewing stuff. Like, for instance, like what really confuses the algorithm, I do something called Serial Killer, where I review review cereal, and you know what? I get 0 views on this stuff, and I don't give a shit. I do it anyway. You know why? Because I fucking love eating cereal, and I fucking love talking about it. And
you post about cereal on your other media accounts just because.
Yeah, so like I love cereal. So like,
did you know there's a Wendy's Frosty cereal? I just found that out.
I reviewed it.
Did you review that?
It's on my channel.
I'm gonna
check
watch
it out.
That.
You gotta watch it. It's just I don't know. I just love
YouTube. Doesn't make sense. I mean, there's Baby Shark that has like 60 billion views, and then there's like somebody with a nuanced film on YouTube, and they have maybe 30,000 views.
Yeah, but you want to know something? Here's what also is so punk rock about YouTube is that there is here's the new movement is that people are just starting to say, this catches us up, where people are starting to say, myself included, are just going, fuck it. I'm just going to put my feature-length film on YouTube. Yep. I don't care. Mm-hmm. This YouTube is legitimate. With young people, YouTube is a legitimate. YouTube goes right next to Netflix, Hulu, all those places. And so we're now at a place where you can not only fund a film, you can shoot a film, edit a film, you can do everything. The distribution piece has now finally fallen into place where you can do everything on a cell phone and have a full studio right here. And to a benefit, I did shoot a feature-length film with this phone.
Yeah, you know what? I was gonna say, so for anyone listening, me and Jeff participated in the Bizarro Land 72-hour film debacle in November, and I think that was a good experience for both of us, because I was honored to have actually won one of the 3 prizes. But Jeff, you made a movie.
Well deserved.
Thank you. I haven't released that yet because I haven't finished editing yet. I haven't touched it, but I will. I promise, and it will be on YouTube. But Jeff, you made a feature. Is that on your YouTube channel? Did you release that yet?
No, because I want to go back and there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be fixed, because I didn't just shoot a feature.
So we're both in the same boat here. Like,
yeah. And it's just on the back burner because I got so many other obligations to complete. But I literally thought when I was making it, I said to myself, this is going to be a feature-length film for YouTube. People will watch it. If this would be shown anywhere, like, no one would bother watching. Like, not that it would.
I mean, I liked it. I think you're talking it down too much most of the time. I liked it.
It's pure, dude. I literally made it up as I went along. I literally made it up as I went along. I literally took my family's. I didn't take it. I stole the Thanksgiving turkey carcass from my parents' house on my birthday, stripped down to my boxers at 2:00 in the morning, covered my face in coffee grinds, and pretended like I was eating. I won't say it for the sake of the algorithm. I was eating something.
Don't worry about that.
Precious. Yeah. I was eating something precious that you would never want to eat. I was pretending. At least I was in the
honestly,
movie.
Dude, those shots, there's parts of those shots of the turkey eating that legitimately...
Yeah, those came out okay.
They creeped me out. Like, I was sitting in this room alone watching them. Like, your eyes, the way the lighting is and everything. I was like, oh my God, it's actually kind of scary, dude. Like...
and then the problem is a feature film, and I see some YouTube. I don't want to call out any names or shout out anybody in a positive or negative way. I'll just say that I do see certain filmmakers claiming that they're making feature length films, but they're only 40 to 45 minutes long, and I'm just kind of, it's a head scratcher. I don't want to take away from their success or their art.
To be fair, Sundance considers everything over 45 feature length. So Sundance,
but there are TV episodes
that are longer than that.
That are longer.
Episode of The Witcher is like an hour long. So
for me, I'm like, I think your film has to be a minimum with credits has to be a minimum of 70 minutes. That's just me. And my film,
like an hour and some pepper.
You have to have an hour and 10 to be. You could say an hour 5, but I think an hour 10 with or without credits will put you in feature length territory. The film that I made that I tried to stretch as long as I could, only made it to 105 minutes. So I found the longest reggae song on audioblocks.com and then stretched out those credits.
You padded it with credit.
Because I knew it would just, I mean, it was, again,
I'm just happy that I'm happy.
It was an experiment. It was a ridiculous experiment of
you think mine
indulgence.
wasn't either? Mine was totally like an experiment.
No,
but
yours is on another level of
I can't even
comprehend.
I didn't finish it. That's the funny thing is there is one more commercial segment that I haven't edited that I shot, and it was the end of the joke.
You know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Here's what's funny about what you're saying. What you made, it doesn't begin or end. So it doesn't have to be fit. Technically, I'm glad you want to finish it.
I want to because I want to do the joke how I saw it. That's all.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that what you made, which I love to death, but what you made has no beginning or end. It just is.
Well, it's also a streaming joke. The whole thing was a streaming joke, and I was like, in the contest, I was like, the guy who streams is Jeff Frumess, right?
Yeah. And you want to know something? Like why Adult Swim hasn't given you like 6 figures to go and like make something for them, I will never understand.
Hey man, if you ever know anybody, let me know. I've tried. You know, like you have the YouTube thing. I think I've always in the back of my mind I've messaged those people. I've even tried doing the pitch things. It sometimes doesn't work out. You know, I almost got on once, but the guy that I had the connection with, who was going to put our segment of Black Jeans Woe off the air, he ended up quitting his job.
Damn.
I he was like, dude, I showed the guy in charge. He loved it. I'm gonna get it on. Don't worry. He left his job and it was all over. And I was like, oh, I was like so close to that.
But you want to know something? And here's the other thing that I really like about YouTube. It goes like this, you know, because you see a lot of people that like bitch or kvetch about like, you know, oh, you know, like it's not fair. This is not fair. It like bottom line.
Life isn't fair.
No. But here's the thing. Yeah. If you can get 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, that means you can be monetized. Mm-hmm. If you can get through that gate, then you have a monetized platform where you can actually make money. The work speaks for itself. People will watch if it's something that they want to watch. People are not going to, and yes, you have that window, that margin of error with like clickbait that I try to exploit that all the time, of course. But like the point is that you will either make money or you will not, and it has nothing to do. And yeah, you could go, oh well, it's the YouTube algorithm. It's like no, like dude, if you have something that people want to fucking see, it will get popular. You know, share it a couple times, it will get popular, and you will, you know, don't use words that YouTube will purposely stifle. I do that to myself. I shoot myself in the foot every stream because I say one thing that fucking makes the algorithm push it down.
Shut it all down, right?
Yeah.
Well, so like, I'm going forward. Every time I make a short or a video, I'm going to start like when I eventually post my my Bizarro Land short. I'm trying to always say Bizarro Land for Steven Stahl, former guest of the show, Bizarro Land Film Festival.
We love you, Steven.
We love you, Steven, if he even listens to this. But I'm going to like when I put that up, I'm going to be like, did this live stream actually happen, or worst live stream ever, or something like that? You know what I mean? Instead of putting the title.
Timothy Troy.
Yeah, he
does that with his shorts, and I think it's really. I tried it with mine, and it didn't work.
What is his channel
he's
name?
Gotten. I forget, man. It's his company, and they've been like,
we can plug him.
He's gotten a lot of hits on his. I saw when he posted one day. He's got a lot of hits, but he does that. Yeah, he does like I wouldn't. It's not clickbait per se, but it's like something
he had a short, and he put the title in the thumbnail, but the actual title of the video was like she didn't know she was alone or something. Yeah, like
right. It's a grabbing sentence to get you to go in. Quick. Here, I'm doing Timothy Troy. Let's see if anything comes up.
Because he does. Yeah, it's a crazy little monster.
Yeah, Crazy Little Monster or something.
So yeah, if you look at up Crazy Little Monster, he had his short Ding Dong, a really good little short. But he made the title "This Late Night Visitor Wasn't Who She Expected."
Right,
and that was for the algorithm. That is not the title of the short. See, I think as film people, when we put stuff on YouTube, or when I used to, I just put the title. I just put the short title, which nobody's going to look up.
Yeah, but he did it in the thumbnail. He does it in the thumbnail, which is super smart.
Yeah.
Super smart.
So I'm actually, he did that, and I'm going to take his lead on this and do it from now on. I'm not going to go back and change the other stuff, but I'm going to do it from now on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely a great strategy, and for sure.
He just put up a new one that was it's like a horror short, and it says she just needed help with her car.
Right. Yeah, I watched that one. Yeah, I watched that one. It's really pretty good.
Short. But yeah, he's doing it and it's working, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that Ding Dong has 26,000 views. I mean
I'm currently reading the Return of the Living Dead novelization, chapter by chapter on my YouTube channel right now. And it's been really fun. And it doesn't, I think the first part has 137 views. But here's the thing. Again, you can't judge by views. You have to look at the watch hours.
Who stayed and watched.
The watch hours are what YouTube cares about, and, I used, like I said, it took me 7 months to get to 4,000 watch hours, and now I can do 4,000 watch hours in 28 days, somewhere between 3.5 to 4.1 thousand watch hours, whatever it is.
That's what matters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that matters. That's all they care about is the watch hours. So that's what you got to watch. So you can, if you have a longer stream, there you have a good chance that is what is going to happen. It's just a matter of, just going out there and doing it.
If I ever get the gumption, I'm following your model, Jeff. But for right now,
you should. And then one last thing. You know what I do? Spotify has turned on my video podcast. So what I can do?
Should we talk about this off camera? I don't even know if people want to hear this.
I'll tell you off camera if you want. Point being,
the technical stuff. You know what I mean?
No, point being is I have the ability to do that. And then what I did was I already had the clips. I already had the description. All the metadata was already set up. So all I did was download from YouTube and then re-upload to Spotify. So now, not the full episodes per se, but the little clips are now searchable through all of Spotify. And it's just another way, it's another means of outreach for people to find a clip. And in the little album art thing, I have the URL to it's all driving traffic. I put a link to the YouTube channel. Everything goes back to the YouTube channel. It all gets driven there. And I've had a lot of good discovery traffic. People will be like, oh, I just found, he's like, oh, you do videos about Return of the Living Dead and the Misfits, and you're talking about this or that? Wow, I love this channel. And I'm just like, hey, thanks for, and people like it when you engage them too. I try to answer all the comments, I can. You got to do that too.
Some of the best comments I got in recent memory on YouTube are from your videos. We kind of got into an argument with that one guy over the Matrix, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, that guy. that guy was ridiculous. Yeah. Some people are a YouTube comment section is like the most ridiculous thing. Yeah. It could be a trash fire. And you know what's funny? I'll say this: we got to get to those top 10 lists.
No, that's never going to happen. No, I was waiting for you kind of to finish your point. That's what. All right, I'm
going to finish this last point, and we'll do it.
Yeah, I want
to hold it up your show.
Yeah. You're not holding it up.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
I wanted to talk about this.
I'm glad we did.
I don't care if anyone doesn't want to listen to it. I wanted to talk about it.
We talk about balding and then YouTube. That's the plan.
YouTube. That's the plan. YouTube, podcasting, our lives on the internet, whatever.
Yeah. No, I love talking. I could talk about this stuff for hours. Yeah. What I was going to say is I had a video of one of the clips where I didn't realize I could turn off my mic or turn it on or mute it. And so I was taking vitamins while we were listening to an audio thing, and the crinkling, was like really loud. And I got to tell you, people were just irate over this. Like, it just was I mean, this video was one of my top videos in terms of it's a Henry Rollins related video. It's I'll tell you how many. So it's 15,000 views on it. And I get a lot of traffic on that video, and people are constantly commenting and angry about this. And I just apologize profusely, continuously. And what's amazing, it's amazing how an apology without explanation will disarm a belligerent YouTube comment. They're just like, they go from being super irate to being like, oh, it's cool. It's like,
they're not
hilarious.
actually mad. They're just wanting to hear you grovel just a little bit. Mistakes.
It's really fucking funny, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's my other one too. When people fucking complain about the free shit,
it's
like,
free.
and they're just, they get just some serious complaints.
Yeah.
And I just go, so don't watch. Go watch. Yeah. Like, go somewhere else. You know. And
you don't need to follow me. You can block me.
I'm just like a little channel, dude. Like, there's so many channels on YouTube.
Dude, I had one. I think we're gonna get to it. But I'm
pulling up my list.
I've had like one guy on Twitter who like was like, "Ugh, you guys are talking about this movie for 2 hours," and I was like, because I posted the link on Twitter, and I was like, "Yeah, you don't need to listen to it. You don't need to comment on either that it's 2 hours long." like why are you
so bothered? He's so upset.
On it, saw the runtime, came back to Twitter to comment that it's too long, and I'm like, is it too long? Because it's free. You know, if you paid me to make it and you said make it a certain time limit, and I don't, then you can complain. You know,
it's so true, man.
I just was like, hey, you don't need to come back and complain, and also, during those 2 hours, we didn't run out of anything to say, so it was as long as it needs to be. Like, I don't know what you need to hear, man. You know, that's just people that don't make stuff reacting to people that do. It's weird.
Right.
Anyway, speaking of people that make stuff, I gave you an assignment because I've been doing that lately on Script Night.
Fucking homework, man.
I've been giving homework because we recently on your show we did our top Nicolas Cage performances.
Why did we do that? I don't even know where I got the idea.
I suggested it to you because you love Nicolas Cage. Yeah, that's why I suggested, because you were like, I need to do a show. You asked me to be on the show, but you had no topic. And I was
are you serious? Wait, I really asked you to be on the show without it? I never do that. I always have to have a topic before I ask someone to be on the show.
No,
you said that?
You just said you wanted to do a show with me on like a Thursday, and you were like, but I don't have a topic, and we were brainstorming, and I said top Nick Cage performances.
No, you know what I think happened? I think maybe what the idea was, we couldn't do it. There was a reason we couldn't do something.
Oh, I can't remember.
And we had maybe, because like the idea of, I always go into something with having something to say.
Maybe,
and obviously I have a lot to say with Nick Cage.
Something,
yeah, it was something that didn't pan out. It was something that I'm almost positive. I don't remember what it was.
It was for the best.
Something. Oh yeah. I enjoyed. That's a great episode. That's a great episode for sure.
So with that in mind, I kind of threw at you because in honor of Ivan Reitman dying. Was it now? It was yesterday, right?
Yes.
So in honor of Ivan Reitman's passing,
which, by the way, did not make a big splash that I thought it would all over the internet. I thought it would be bigger.
I searched his name, so I saw a lot of stuff. But yeah. I don't know how well the younger generation knows who Ivan Reitman really is. But regardless, I was like, I want to give Jeff, because I'm trying to do like topics on Shrimp Night, so it's not just rambling like most podcasts. So I was like, Ivan Reitman. Comedy directors. Jeff, give me your top 10 comedy directors.
And what did I say to you? What did I say in response?
I don't remember. What did you say?
I said that comedy movies don't exist.
Which I don't agree with, But fine. I was like, I'm not arguing with Jeff about the existence of
I
comedy
literally,
movies.
I thought it was because you know what it was?
Because there is comedy in a lot of movies. I'm not disagreeing with that.
I was trying to
Is Sam Raimi a comedy movie director?
Right.
Sort
those are
of.
the things. So I came back to Bob and I'm like, I was like, oh, this is going to make Bob upset. And he's going to give me an explanation. I was like, he's going to give me a whole explanation why I'm wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I said it with a smile, but I was like, I don't think comedy movies don't exist.
But I disagree because I tried to frame it for you a little bit better by saying give me top 10 directors of movies that would be filed under the comedy section in a video store.
Yes.
And there are some movies that you can argue are purely aimed at comedy. Like if you looked at, like, don't tell me Norbit is any other genre.
Norbit is a drama with comedic moments in it.
Come on, Jeff. Come on.
What do you mean?
Drama. It's a comedy with drama in it.
But here's the thing.
It's a comedy movie.
No. But here's the thing.
And I don't even like Norbit.
All movies are drama.
All movies are technically
genres
don't even exist if you want to get that far into it.
No, horror movies do exist, I think.
But you could argue there's comedy movies with horror in them and there's horror movies with comedy in them.
Yes, this is true. That a horror movie, if a comedy has horror in it, it's still a horror movie.
Comedy is a genre.
I don't think so. It's a drama.
You're close to my age. You lived through the 90s. The Renaissance.
You are 3 years older than me.
The Renaissance of comedy filmmaking in the 90s when they made movies that were purely in the comedy category. You can't tell me you don't remember this era of our lives.
When I think
Chris
about
Farley making Adam Sandler and Chris Farley made comedy movies, Jeff.
All dramas.
No. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. There's drama in storytelling. There's storytelling drama, but those are pure comedies. Those are purely aimed at comedies. Regardless, it doesn't.
Fine. They're comedies.
I'm just saying. I get what you're saying, but it's a comedy movie with drama in it. That's all.
You know, I thought this would fluster you more than it. I thought you would be more flustered than you are. You're not flustered enough.
No.
By this assertion, I know, but I wanted you to be, and you're not, and it's upsetting me.
Because I get what you're saying.
I didn't want you to get what I was saying.
But
I legitimately was saying. I legitimately was saying that. But I also knew I was being flippant and hyperbolic in saying it too. I just want to acknowledge that as well.
I also think your opinion would be the minority opinion.
Oh, for sure.
I feel most people would agree with me that.
Oh, everybody. No, I absolutely. I have the unpopular opinion, but like I said, I would be lying because here's the thing. Yes, of course I love comedies and of course I watch comedies.
Right.
But I am not comedy is not. How do I explain this?
No. I actually thought about this when I asked you. The Ivan Reitman thing pushed me on this one because I want to talk about Ivan Reitman or just in general, like his life, his partners.
I figured he was going to be on your list. He is not actually on my list.
That's fine. That's fine.
I thought he was going to be on your list, and I was like, I know he's going to put him on his list.
I tried to make my list spicier than I would. Yeah,
my list is spicy as fuck.
That's fine.
I think.
Jeff, you're not the first person I wouldn't have asked you to be the guest on the comedy director show, but I wanted you to be on the podcast this week, and Ivan Reitman died, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to let Destiny take the wheel. So
okay.
I was like, and plus,
I think I did it justice. I did.
Even if it's not your wheelhouse, that's even better. I want to hear your top 10 from
which
someone
is why I'm embracing
this. Because it's totally my wheelhouse.
So not my wheelhouse.
Right. It's really my wheelhouse.
Not my wheelhouse.
This was an impossible list for me to make. In fact, I am not happy with the list. I have honorable mentions that I'll have to say, and I'm already looking at it like I made lots of mistakes here.
That's okay.
You know what I mean? But I realize that it's not your wheelhouse, so I appreciate that. And everyone listening know that I'm forcing Jeff to do this. The man who doesn't believe comedies exist.
I'm happy to do it, even though I don't believe comedies exist. And I will say this. Are we going to do the thing where if we have a same one on our list that I admit, like either you or me say, oh yeah, that was on my list, and we just talk about it at the same time, right? Because it's okay.
Yeah.
And I want to predict that we have, I'm looking right now, I think we have at least 3 that will be on the same list. I think 3 of mine will be on your list. Maybe I'm wrong. You are so much more well-versed in comedy and comedy directors. Like if you're like I had to like seriously sit and think about this for a while. Because here's the thing. I like lots of different comedies, but usually the comedies that I like, the director only directed like I don't know the rest of the the filmography. It's very hard.
Comedy director is a weird concept.
It's a weird concept.
There is the Judd Apatows of the world who like totally singularly comedy, and then there's some that have branched out, like Adam McKay. He used to make comedies, now he's making all these serious movies.
Well, here's what's interesting. But then you look at a guy like Woody Allen, and like, again, not here to talk about Woody Allen any which way,
not on
but
my
a
list if you wanted to know.
I know, but not here, not to talk about separately. We're just talking about him as a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you quantify Woody Allen? Is he a drama? Is it drama, or does he do comedy? And then, you know what, here's the realization that I had about this guy, and like why I started to realize that you would probably like comedy is really just drama, because like you wouldn't put Woody Allen film. Maybe you would put some Woody Allen films in the comedy section of a video store, but
his filmography is fluctuating.
Woody Allen,
it's fluctuating,
but it's Woody Allen, dude.
Right.
His films are Woody Allen films.
No,
in the same way that Quentin Tarantino films are Quentin Tarantino. You know what I mean? Like,
Tarantino views his movies as comedies.
Well, they have a lot of there's a lot of comedy.
He said that in like interviews. Like he views them as hilarious.
Look at Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, they're funny.
Basterds has a lot of comedy in it. Django has comedy.
I'm not disagreeing. I think they do have a lot of comedy. He's not on my list, but they do have a lot of comedy.
And his humor, like look at Kill Bill, has comedy too. His humor can be, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not dry. It's like it's not, he doesn't play for jokes. It's more like the physical, you know what it is? His comedy is slapstick is what it is. It's dry slapstick.
It's either extremely dry or extremely slapstick.
Yeah.
Like it was one or the other. The two. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I should have defined it like this. Let me just say this before we start. I should have said, Jeff, comedy movies are movies in which the trailer would make the audience think they're paying to go see something that will make them laugh. Primarily make them laugh. That's a comedy movie. So, like, for example, Naked Gun is a comedy movie, right?
Yeah.
Could you argue Naked Gun is any other genre? Maybe it's a cop genre.
No, it's a spoof.
It is a spoof.
It's a satire, which is pure
comedy,
which is literally a film of pure comedy.
Right.
So it doesn't, I wouldn't put that in the same category as comedies per se, because it's like it's a thing, it's a satire spoof. It's a completely separate, you know, in the same way that like you have theater and then you have mime. Mm-hmm. Like you have all these different things. Like you have movie, you have theater, then you have mime, and it's like these different ways of acting. Yeah. Like spoof satire is like a level of comedy that's like mime.
Okay, question.
You know what I mean?
Should I remove? I have two spoof filmmakers on here.
You absolutely don't have to remove them.
I thought about it though. I was like,
I already know what.
Spoof? Yeah.
Well, I don't want to ruin your surprises, but I already know who it is if you said that.
Yeah, it's hard because with spoof humor, also there's some movies that have just a little bit of spoof humor.
I think David Zucker is on your list, but you don't have to confirm that. Yeah, I have a feeling.
Anyway, okay, so obviously this has been a tenuous category for me to throw at Jeff. I have other friends where I would have thrown it at him and they wouldn't even have pushed back on me at all. But I appreciate you for pushing back on me for this very simple category, which I think is very funny.
You're gonna love my pick. You're gonna love my picks. I think. I hope.
Okay, so how we're gonna do this is we're gonna do it like kind of like we did the Nick Cage thing. I told you to put them in order.
I did. I actually did make an order.
Order doesn't really matter to me, but it's easy to for a countdown.
My order is loose, I tried my best. I tried my best.
Mine is very messy, but we each got 10. We'll start at 10 and just work our way down. If we have a match, we'll talk about the match at the same time.
Okay, let's do it. Begin.
So number 10, you're the guest. Go ahead, Jeff. What is your number 10?
My number 10 I picked because I literally struggle to think of 10 people who have a body of work. Like, because you have to, again, I will reiterate.
Yeah.
When I was thinking of people, I was thinking of people that had a body of work, and I would say there's only one filmmaker on here who that I picked who made a singular film as a comedy, in my opinion, or made a comedy, and everybody else has a body of work. And that number 10, I put Adam McKay, because he's just made so many funny, great films with like Will Ferrell, and he did Step Brothers, right?
Yeah.
That someone else?
The whole like
all that stuff.
The Funny or Die days, pretty much. Like him and Will Ferrell being the team that they once were.
Right.
Yeah, and you can argue his newer movies have comedy in them. The Big Short is funny.
Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up is
funny.
Is a comedy. Even though it's the scariest movie ever made, but it's a comedy.
It's totally got humor in it.
Yeah.
Anchorman. You got Step Brothers.
I put him there like just because I knew like it was him or Judd Apatow, and I like Judd Apatow too. Don't get me wrong, but when I thought about different type of funny, you look at what's that? He did Funny Game. No, what was it? Funny People.
Yeah, Funny People.
Funny People, which actually is a drama.
It's totally a drama. Funny People isn't a comedy, which I think is hilarious. Like out of all his movies,
goes back to my point.
No, comedy still exists. Judd Apatow would disagree with you.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adam McKay is number 10, and I really don't have much to say about it except that I enjoy a good Adam McKay film. I just think he does funny. You know what? Okay, I'll say this about Adam McKay real quick. I'll say one thing. Yeah. I'll say that I admire his ability to let his actors do the improv thing, which is obviously something that happens in a lot of comedy. Yeah. You have a really good improv actor, and that can be really annoying if you got a guy like Seth Rogen who will literally do 2 hours of material for a single scene. And that's like super talented, but super frustrating if you're in the editing room trying to cut that thing together. So,
I mean, if you've ever seen, I'm a huge Adam McKay fan. I realize some people hate Adam McKay and some people hate those movies, but I don't. If you ever watch the making of Step Brothers, like Step Brothers is genius, but it's also like barely a movie too, which is like amazing.
It's not a movie. It's a series of scenes,
which is great. I can watch it endlessly.
It's a series of vignettes, and you know what? I'll tell you something. Like what they did with Anchorman, the same reason. Anchorman has there's a spiritual, like, I wouldn't call it a sequel. It's essentially a whole nother feature-length film.
The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and that came out in a double box set with Anchorman in 2004. That I used to work at Sam Goody, so I had the Blu-ray, the DVD, and I'm going, what the fuck is this? Like, I couldn't even. It's nigh unwatchable, and it's just scenes. It's just random scenes.
If it was just deleted scenes on the DVD, I would have enjoyed it more. If it not edited together,
way more. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Give me that for Step Brothers. Like literally, just give me like the 2 hours of Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. Which, by the way, that's why I loved when they did that Sherlock Holmes movie got really lambasted.
Yeah,
I loved it. I had so much. I thought it was so. Yeah,
I never saw it.
I never saw it. Oh, it's just good.
That's not Adam McKay though. He didn't direct that.
I know, but you know what? Yeah. Those guys are the dream team, John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, and you just watch them play off each other, and it's a lot of good fun.
The reason I love them is because of how out of the gate insane they were with a lot of this stuff. Like, one of my favorite unmade movies ever is the original pitch for Anchorman. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely batshit insane. I think you might have told me it, actually, but it's absolutely
I got it right
insane.
Here, actually. It's the first version of Anchorman is basically the movie Alive, where the year is 1976. This is Will Ferrell talking. We are flying to Philadelphia to celebrate the bicentennial, and also all the newsmen from around the country are flying in there from their affiliates to have a big convention. Ron convinces the pilot that he knows how to fly the charter jet. He immediately crash lands it in the mountains, and it's just the story of them surviving and trying to get off the mountainside. They clipped a cargo plane, and the cargo plane crashed as well, close to them, and it was carrying boxes of orangutans and Chinese throwing stars. It's just amazing that could have been the movie.
And you could totally see that scene from Anchorman 2 where they're all fighting.
Yeah, where they're all fighting, right?
But it's all of them against.
I kind of wish that was Anchorman 2. They just did the original pitch.
It would have been such a better movie.
Anchorman 2 has some
2.
funny shit in it. It's not a good movie. It has funny shit in it. But
right, that scene, the gang scene where they all fight is absolutely one of the best things they've ever done. I mean, they're just so ridiculous. So like, there's ghosts.
I just remember, I mean, like, even Anchorman, like, just the when it got to I remember being in the audience, and when it got to the dog talking to the bear, I remember a dude literally screaming, "What the fuck is happening?" Yeah, it's like shit like that. Like, those guys didn't care back then.
Also, I'll say one last thing. When Jack Black kicks the small dog and it goes fly, see the visceral reaction that Bob has. I just verbally spoke about it. Like Bob is thinking about it.
Because the dog looks fake as shit.
Yeah, but and Adam and Ben Stiller does the same thing in Tropic Thunder with the small child.
Right.
But it's also, it speaks to this element of comedy that these guys are exploiting where, whether something is offensive or not, like, if something is funny, it doesn't matter
if it makes sense.
It doesn't matter if it makes sense, and it doesn't matter if it's like, again, like how do I say this the right way? I'm saying that even if something might offend somebody, like inflicting violence on a small dog or a small human being kicked, there's still something like the physicality of it still makes you laugh, even if you don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
Is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
It's like laughter is an involuntary reaction, and I feel like you feel that in its pure form when you see something like Jack Black punting a small dog off a bridge.
And I'll say this too, as much as Step Brothers is not really, I wouldn't call it a good movie, but it is a great comedy. It's not a good movie, but a great comedy. Where I would say The Other Guys is where Adam McKay kind of turned a quarter for me, where Other Guys is like a good comedy movie.
That was filmed right here.
Was it?
Yeah. If you look at the Pastina sign, that's right on Central Avenue.
Oh, awesome.
There's a Pastina sign in the background that was filmed right in my backyard.
Of their collaborations, I think if I had to say what is the best film, it would be The Other Guys to me. That's like the most.
I don't even remember it, dude. It holds
together the best. Anyway, Adam McKay is a good choice.
McKay.
Who can argue?
Is he on your list?
He is in my honorable mentions.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I did not put him on my list.
Wow, who the hell is on your list? I'm trying to think.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I asked somebody that might not be as well versed in this stuff. So my number 10 is one Savage Steve Holland.
Okay, I don't even know who that is. What did he make? No, I'm sure I know his movies. Like, that's what I'm saying. Dude, this is gonna be a blind spot for me nonstop.
So Savage Steve Holland is most famous.
I'm IMDbing him right now.
He's most famous for Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer.
Oh my God, I fucking love Better Off Dead.
Right.
Love that fucking movie so much.
I like actually One Crazy Summer more, but I love Better Off Dead too.
I don't know if I've seen it all the way through, One Crazy Summer.
Oh, that's one of my absolute favorites. But like, he also made a pretty. I also dig. Had I gotten to college, and I think he made a Legally Blonde 3 that was kind of straight to video. But
what?
He kind of is like a 2-hit wonder on this. Like, he had 2 movies that kind of people talked about, and How I Got Into College was never that name, but he was really huge in my life. Those 2 movies, they were really. This is a favorite list. This isn't a best.
Right.
So he made 2 comedies.
He does a lot of Disney stuff. Wow, he does a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
He's firmly in that. He jumped into the Disney scene.
Hey, make your money, man. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not. I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I'll tell you something. Better Off Dead. Before we had like David Wayne, you had Better Off Dead, which was like sort of like similar. Like, there's so much surreal. Like, it's surreal comedy, which is one of my favorite forms of comedy. Truly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
So yeah.
Yeah,
that's great. Great
David
pick.
Wayne is on my honorable mentions.
He's on your honorable mentions.
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Like, I made this list and I'm like, damn it, I kept thinking of more shit. And I was like,
dude,
it's really hard. But yeah, Savage Steve Holland, he is not, I don't think most people would think of him, but for me as Little Bob, those two movies, they meant so much to me. So he had to come in somewhere. Yeah.
Respect.
That's all I got to say. Your number 9, Jeff. Your number 9.
All right. My number 9 is going to make you so mad. And
no, it won't.
I picked number 9 because to me, he's only made one film, and it wasn't even, it's not a comedy, it's a drama. It's not a comedy, it's a drama.
Okay.
That is so that's so funny that it's a comedy.
Okay.
It's called The Room, and I picked Tommy Wiseau. Coming in at number 9.
That's fine. I don't see, that doesn't bother me, because here's the thing: is okay? The Room is, he tried to make a drama, but in reality, he did make one of the most popular comedy movies ever.
Not only that, he made something so above and beyond. He made like a surrealist nightmare of like a dream logic surrealist Dada nightmare like you can't like you would imagine like the smartest, like if Andy Warhol could have watched The Room and like understood, like if Andy Warhol had stayed up with pop culture and lived to the year 2003 and got to see The Room, I feel like it would make him weep tears of joy.
Yeah,
because he would just be like, this is, you know, because you know what it is.
Do you know how that got popular? Do you actually know? Because I know. I remember.
I read the book. I read the book, and I know that he had a billboard out in L.A. for a really long time.
No. I meant what made it popular in the comedy circles, because what was happening was Tim and Eric were doing screenings of it constantly.
Oh, they had him on the show.
They had him on the show,
Pigman.
Before I am Pigman. Before the Pigman thing, they were doing private screenings that were not that well known, and they invited all their comedy buddies to watch it. So it became popular with like the whole Tim and Eric and Judd Apatow crew knew about it way before the world ever knew about it.
Because here are these guys that are trying to do, especially Tim and Eric, trying to do like this crazy sort of comedy.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, they try so hard to be funny, and here's a guy trying so hard to be serious, and he ends up being the funniest man in The Room.
He's like almost everything they're trying to do. He's authentically every joke they've tried to make, you know, manufacture.
And it says something about art, like being. It says something about like the truth. Sorry, I cut you off. It says something about the truth of the truth in the art that you're making, where if like you're not trying that hard, that like you just simply do, and like what comes out of you may not be what you intended, but it's going to be authentic.
Right. So, and he can't replicate that, sadly, because he's in on the joke now. Like,
right.
He can never, like it can only ever happen with him properly once.
That's a curse. That's the curse. That's a curse. He made one of the greatest movies ever made, and like can never repeat it.
He made some like web series. I watched it. It was
I've
awful.
seen it.
It's
on Hulu.
Was it Neighbors?
Yeah. Yep.
It's the sound. Number one, the sound is atrocious. It's peaking everything anyone says is absolutely atrocious. I can't believe it's on Hulu. It's so bad.
It's not anymore, but it was on Hulu.
But it is literally insane. Like
it's so insane.
It's like, insane. Like I couldn't.
We need to do a whole show just talking about
neighbors.
Like we're like that whole thing. Like it's something about like borrowing money. Like they're sitting in the office.
Yeah.
Everybody comes down to the office of like the apartment building to like hash out their problems. And what's so crazy is, you know, what's crazy about the neighbors is that this is like Tommy Wiseau trying to do like normal, like he's trying to write realistic, normal things. Dude, that's what's so funny about it.
But if you watch that, there's entire scenes of like 5 people screaming at once. Like it doesn't. It says directed by Tommy Wiseau, but then you literally watch a room filled with people all screaming in unison in one room, and you're like, what is there? I don't know who directed what, because it's nothing happening.
You know, I take it back. You said he can never do it again. The
Neighbors is actually him doing it again. But
I think he could continue. And they did that trailer for that big shark movie thing.
Oh yeah. But the problem with The Neighbors is like it's so badly made. It's not as fun to watch as The Room is. Like The Room,
right. That's what makes The Room so fascinating, is because it has like it does have some production value, which makes it even weirder.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but like Neighbors looks like it was like two people with two video cameras shooting Tommy Wiseau being insane in a room with other actors that had no clue what they were doing. It's different.
You know what it is? Like David Lynch vibrates on a different state of consciousness than the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Because of his transcendental meditation and all sorts of stuff. And it's like Tommy Wiseau doesn't do any of the things that David Lynch does to vibrate at that frequency. And yet it's almost like, like how like Predator can only see heat vision or whatever. Or no, sorry, I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. It's like David Lynch like turns to Tommy Wiseau and goes, "Wait, you can see that too?" And Tommy Wiseau's like, "Yeah, of course I can." And like David Lynch is like, "What?" Because like Tommy Wiseau, like basically everybody's trying to make David Lynch, and Tommy Wiseau actually does this Lynchian nightmare. Like,
yeah, the room has that feel.
Oh
it's
my God!
It's not the same. It is not the same as Lynch, but it's like
no, it has a like Lynchian feel though.
If the David Lynch vibe had slight cancer, you know what I mean? Like it's just off and kind of like sickly to the side. Something is off about it, but it does have that like early 90s euphoric, but yet very banal.
Well, it's shot. I mean, it has like this also made for TV feel, but it's like
that's that early 90s feel. You know what I mean?
You want to know what it is? Every line in The Room feels like they are purposely trying to say it like that. And what do I mean when I say that? It's every line in The Room feels like it's intended to be a joke, and anybody else would work endlessly, tirelessly trying to pull it off as a joke. And
it's also the editing too. Like my first exposure to The Room was Tim and Eric showing a clip that was just Tommy Wiseau walking into the flower shop and
right. Hi, doggy. Yeah.
Hello, doggy. Oh, thanks. Hi. Okay, bye. It was just like it's such a nothing scene.
You couldn't replicate that. You
ask if you wanted. Yeah.
Ask Adam McKay. Ask anybody. Ask Tim and Eric. Ask anybody.
Yeah.
Do a scene that has that same tone and feel, and nobody would be able to replicate it.
Nobody could.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'm not saying that I was not mad about that choice.
Okay.
That's The Room is a legend. So.
Yeah.
My number 9 is a little off, but I got to represent my hometown. And so that should tell you exactly who I'm going to say. John Waters.
John Waters is my number 2.
Okay, so let's talk about him at the same time here. Because, I mean, I think it's inarguable that John Waters is a lot of his films are comedy. He does,
150% comedy.
John Waters is trying to disrupt. He's trying to be subversive.
Right, but he's making comedies. He's trying to make you laugh.
Well, I'm saying he's trying to make you laugh, but he's also trying to scare the straights. He is doing exactly what the comedy at its core is.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's one of my biggest influences as far as like just
Me
being
too.
taboo and being in your face and being and just like, you're not doing things you're not supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's John Waters. He's a legend. I've seen like 3 or 4 movies sitting in a theater with him. So
I got to meet him, and I had my picture taken with him, and I got to see one of his spoken word shows, and I sat right in front.
Yeah.
And I laughed at every one of his things that he was doing, like some of which weren't necessarily funny, but he was very nervous, and I was just trying to like show him that I was engaged in the show.
Yeah.
And after he signed my book and I took my picture, and he said, "I saw you laughing at everything up there, and I just want to say thank you." Like, because he was like nervous, and I like couldn't believe that he said that. Like I was like, "You noticed me." He noticed me. I was like, "You're my fucking god." Like, I asked him. I said, "Could you sign my book, Demented Forever?" And he gave me like some little. He said he just walks down the street and people just scream out "Demented Forever," So that was cool. But yeah, oh my god, so total comedy.
It's total comedy. I'll give you 2 John Waters stories from me.
Yeah, please.
One is A long time ago, over 10 years, my friend was trying to make a public commercial for the public library here. And don't ask, there's a series of events. They somehow got John Wooders to come in to the library.
God.
And I got to shoot John Wooders for a morning. You got to like film him.
Shut up.
Sadly, this commercial never happened. But the footage does still exist. But it doesn't make any sense in it needs context to make sense. But I got to actually technically shoot John Wooders and work.
You got to Ed Wood Bela Lugosi that shit, okay?
I wonder if I have permission. I got to ask the people who made it if I have permission to use it in some way.
You should.
Second, I mean, I've literally seen John Wooders isn't that rare if you go to the right places here. But the movie, what's the movie where?
Yeah, but he doesn't like to be bothered. Like he doesn't want anybody bothering him, right? Like
no, I actually have 3 stories. But the second one is, what's the horror movie? It Follows. I saw It Follows at the Charles Theater here in Baltimore. I was sitting pretty much in the front row, and this is a bad story on my part because I broke one of my cardinal rules in life. I talked during a movie. I talked during a movie. John Wooders was 3 seats behind me. Very sparse theater. Wasn't that many people there. At one point in the movie, and I'm kind of ashamed because I talked during a movie, and I'm one of those people that shouted something out to my friend. I said, man, somebody needs a fucking astronaut. That's because because the movie is if you fuck someone, the curse goes to them.
Right.
So I was trying to say somebody should fuck an astronaut because then
and John Waters laughed.
And he laughed. He actually laughed.
You know why? You know why? Because of course John Waters would appreciate something like that. Because and John Waters is the type of guy that would go to a movie theater with an audience, and depending on the movie, would totally appreciate the energy,
a little feedback. Yeah, a little energy feedback.
Yeah, like energy feedback. It depends on the listen. It depends on how many people are in the theater. It depends on what's being shown. There's a lot of factors that determine what sort of audible din should be in a movie theater.
As a personal thing, I try to never break that. That is one of the few times I did, and I was just happy the few time I did. Literally a legend laughed at the joke. So I was like, all right, it was justified. I justified it backwards.
When you go to hell for all the things you've done, they're gonna look at that one and they say, oh well, you made John Waters laugh.
So it doesn't count. You're good.
Yeah,
You're good. We'll cross that one off.
Right. No, that's great. What's your third one?
My third one is Jackass 3D. I have a very good friend who is in charge of all the screenings in Baltimore, and I was blessed to go to a lot of them. He also would often have John Waters would ask him when certain movies he wanted to see art. If you didn't know, John Waters is a huge Jackass fan. Obviously, he's in
part 2. Yeah,
he's in part 2. So he sat.
I'm a giant Jackass fan, by the way.
I absolutely adore Jackass.
The last Jackass movie. I physically cried.
The one that's out now.
Yeah, I actually cried. I cried in the movie theater.
I was
from laughter. I was laughing so hard that I cried. I just want to say that. Yeah.
So we were sitting in the second press row, which is just there's a front row and then there's one on the floor and then there's a second one. I was sitting there. My friend sat John Wooders, and he had a really hot guy with him. I don't know if that was a confidant or what, but him and his confidant sat right in front of us. My friend started laughing so hard during the poop scene in Jackass 3 when Dave England shoots the volcano of poop up in the air. He started laughing, and then he started coughing, and then he started to gag. And he was gagging so much, I was literally spit was starting to come out of his mouth, and he was about to vomit on John Waters' head. And so I instantly grab his head, his whole body.
John Waters.
No. I grab my friend's head, direct him away from the top of John Waters' head, and basically onto my leg. And he didn't end up vomiting, but he ended up coughing up a bunch of spit and shit from laughing so hard.
Did John Waters know? Did John Waters
find out? No, he never found out. I basically stopped him from getting getting yacked on by my friend.
I wonder how now on a personal level, I'm sure John Waters would have been very upset. But I think on on another level, would he just shrug his shoulders and go yeah, I'm John Waters. That's the
thing is a movie that makes somebody actually vomit. I can't see him being that, like, on an existential level, being mad about it, because that's like, hey,
Right.
I was watching a movie that made a human being vomit on me. Good job artistically. I guess.
Yeah, but John Waters is a guy, like, he has divine.
I wouldn't let that happen, though. I didn't.
Right, but John Waters is like the type of guy, like, he's not like, Johnny Knoxville or Steve-O. Like, he doesn't allow things to happen to his person.
Right,
he's an orchestrator of these things, and it's always at somebody else's expense. It's never at his own. So maybe if he got the vomit on his head, he would take great umbrage with it and be very upset.
Either way, I was ready to take the vomit onto my person.
You took a vomit bullet. I
can't say it was just a little bit of like spit and shit, but it could have been a vomit bullet. I would have taken it for John Waters, and without.
It's just like in Friends. It's just like Joey in Friends when when he's concerned about the sandwich. The tire blows out and he dives to take a bullet for either Ross or Chandler. I don't remember, but
I don't
really
remember this.
He's just trying to save the meatball sub. And
Right.
So
I mean, and what's funny too is, like, he sat down first in that row because he got there early, and my friend sat an entire family with kids next to him, like young kids. And so John Waters is like sitting there next to, like, 10-year-olds watching Jackass 3. It was such an odd, like, whole experience. It was great. I loved it. But he's such a nice guy. Every time I've ever, encountered him, when I actually filmed him, he was such a nice dude. And obviously, I was on the set for like a couple hours of A Dirty Shame.
That is friggin' awesome.
We got to meet Johnny Knoxville, and we got to see them shoot some scenes.
Because it's a shame that fruitcake. It's a shame that fruitcake was not able to come out. That was going to be made with Johnny Knoxville, and it was going to be a children's film.
Yeah,
and it was like a Christmas movie that John Waters was going to make, and it just could not. It did not happen. Yeah. No, it's just John Waters, as he said many times. He does not want to make movies for. He doesn't want to. He wants budgets that he can't
get.
He can't get, and he can't command, and it's just he's uncompromising. And the sad shame is that we have literally been denied like almost 20 years worth of John Waters films simply because he's not getting paid the money that he needs or wants to
he
make
just decided
these
to make other stuff. He decided to write and do all that.
Well, he does that because he's uncompromising in what he wants. And I respect that. I understand that. But
on that level, there was remember when Multiple Maniacs was re-released?
Yeah, I have it right over there.
So I went to the screening at the Charles Theater. That was like the premiere of him. He spoke before it. And the thing is you could tell, like any filmmaker trying to talk about an old thing they made, he was like apologizing. It was John Waters almost apologizing for it to us. And I remember, like, I was like, why does he think we're all not going to fucking love this? And like when it was over, he was like, thank you all for coming. The response was so great. Like, he was so thankful that we liked it. I'm like, the guy doesn't know who he is or where he is or what he does sometimes. Like, I could tell. Like, what you're saying is he views his old thing that costs no money, and he's like,
right.
He's like, I'm glad you guys like it because I can barely stare at this thing. You know what I mean? Like,
right. He personally has a problem with it.
Yeah, but the crowd was going wild the whole time. So he was. It's how he feels versus how the audience feels is different.
Now, give me 3 of your favorite Waters films.
Oh man. Well, I guess, the ones I grew up with.
I like all of his films.
Yeah.
All of them.
The ones I grew up with versus the ones that I like now are, it's hard to do 3.
It's hard to do 3.
I actually really do love A Dirty Shame. It's not my favorite John Waters, but it grows on me every time I watch it.
It's been a long time since I watched it. I really need to revisit it.
The revisits really play well. Obviously, Polyester.
Yeah, everybody loves Polyester.
Pink Flamingos is a classic.
Yeah, Pink Flamingos.
I love Crybaby. I
love Crybaby.
I love Crybaby. How do you choose just one?
You know what? I forget I said anything because literally every film he's ever made is like fucking perfect.
Yeah,
they're all fucking great.
I don't dislike
They're all fucking
anything.
great.
Pecker,
I love Female Trouble, fucking
Female Trouble.
I think his most punk rock film is probably Desperate Living.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which is just so, like, it's literally trying to make this movie that's larger than life for so little, like, and it's just really, it really is, like, when you think about, like, that he built an entire village made out of trash and all these people, it's just, it really is something else. And then
I'm trying to think, I don't think there's a single John Waters movie I don't like, or I consider a misfire, because number one, he's an auteur, and his voice is in literally everything. So it's
all right. Forget I asked that question. We love John Waters.
We love John Waters. He's a legend. I'm proud to have worked with him, Jeff. I can say that. That's something I can say.
You can.
Serial Mom is a fucking classic. Yeah, I
love Serial Mom. You can't. There's literally not a single film.
Hairspray. Yeah, it's hard. You can't.
Fucking Cecil B. Demented is awesome.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
It's all bangers.
They're all bangers. Bangers. Okay,
they are.
Forget that. That.
Let's move on. Your number 8.
My number 8. Okay, so this one's going to be very interesting.
Mine's really interesting too.
Mine is a tie between Del Lord and Jules White.
I don't actually know who that is.
You definitely know who they are. You just don't recognize their names. Those are the two most frequent directors of all the Three Stooges two-reelers. So if you watch, do you ever watch?
I love Three Stooges.
Okay, so then you've seen their work. Those two-reelers. So the thing was, the Three Stooges, for their entire careers, they worked in a format that is essentially dead today, or at least it's a format that today you would find on YouTube probably, and even in shorter. Two reels is about 17 minutes of movie narrative. So essentially what the Three Stooges did was they would make shorts, and from I think 1931 to 1950 something, they made 157 two-reeler shorts at $3,000 a piece. That their wages never increased. The money, still great money to be making for, steady income for that many years of your life. And to me, the Three Stooges are one of my favorite forms of comedy. I was introduced to the Three Stooges by my dad when I was super little, and
I just want to say I worship the Three Stooges. Like, don't get me wrong. I just didn't.
Yeah. No. Those are the names, and there's more. There's more directors, but I decided the two names that I always see all the time. I always see Del Lord and I always see Jules White, and they're just I picked them as directors because even though it's like they might be directing the thing, but they're doing the technical directing. The real directors are the Three Stooges. They're the ones that are doing what essentially were vaudevillian bits that are being transponded or, adapted to, film,
Yeah.
But when they started as kind of like a vaudevillian act, and, three Jews from New York who just, had this incredible sense of physicality. And as we were talking about before, slapstick is one of the most universal forms of comedy. You don't even have to know what the language that is being spoken in order to laugh. It can literally
be a silent film.
It could be a silent film. Yeah. And it's just it's an incredible art form. And the Three Stooges are near and dear to my heart. And so I thought, what better selection for number 8 than Del Lord and Jules White?
Totally respect that, Jeff. I'm not. I the only reason my reaction was as I didn't know their names. But
that's cool.
I could watch Three Stooges every day. I love them.
Oh, the best.
I love them so dearly. God, I'm looking at my ordering and I'm like, what was I thinking earlier? Anyway, because it's, putting stuff in order sucks. It truly does. So
that's my least favorite part of doing that.
I know. I only did that for this podcast because I don't want to say everyone I say from now on is not better than John Waters. It's just what, it's just like in my mind, I was just throwing stuff in the order, and then I'm like, oh, what did I do? Anyway, my number 8 is a little bit unconventional and very new because I don't have any new people. It's Akiva Schaffer.
Don't know who that is.
He is 1/3 of The Lonely Island.
Okay.
Mostly popular for directing 2 of their movies, which is Hot Rod and Popstar.
I've seen neither one.
You've seen neither one. Then we don't have to talk about this.
I've seen. You know what I've seen? I've seen the music videos they did. Oh, John Waters is in the Creep music video.
There is a connection there. He is in the Creep, and he's very proud of doing the Creep.
Yeah.
He actually, if you read, there's an interview with him where he says he's a big Lonely Island fan, which is interesting.
I just love that. I just love because John Waters, a Hairspray is all about the dance fads.
Dance fads, yeah. And
the Creep was one of them.
He was like, I hope it starts a new dance fad.
Right.
So basically, I was trying to think of number one. The problem with the comedy list is it's a sausage fest. It is a white sausage fest. And it is an old man white sausage fest for me.
Penelope Spears could be technically.
She is. Oh no, she's on my honorable mentions.
Oh, she is. Oh, cool.
Yeah. I was her. But it's like it's sad how low of a number of women and
there's very few
white guys have done. Yeah, it sucks. Please more, but So this is Akiva Schaffer. I threw him on there because literally Hot Rod is one of my favorite movies ever. I just absolutely adore it. I love Popstar, and I said director. He did direct all those music videos, which I think are incredible. I don't know if we're counting that, but like he made 2 movies I absolutely adore recently, and I watch them all the time. So I figured I needed somebody a little bit newer because all the other guys are like 70s, 80s, 90s guys. You know what I mean? Like I wanted something. I was trying to like go, who does it now? That's pure. And those movies are kind of spoofish, but not. They're like bordering on spoof humor. So they're pure comedy, if you ever watch them. So, comedy's not a genre, man. That's why I'm telling you that.
Comedy's not a genre.
So yeah, that's
hold on real quick. I'm just gonna run and grab a seltzer. Fill the dead air.
No. I'm Jeff. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. All right.
I'll be right back.
I'm just getting a seltzer.
Okay.
Whoa, we came back at the same time.
How cute, right? It's perfect. That was a perfect. I had to go to the bathroom, so perfect.
Yeah. All right. No, I was like really wanting another seltzer, and I was like, oh man, when are we?
We did it. We did that one podcast with the 4 Horsemen. Me and you and Nathan and Mike.
Is that our name? Are we the 4 Horsemen?
I just said it. But I had to pee for so long. I should have just went. I don't know. I was like, why am I holding this? I was like, why am I holding this?
You know what the honest truth is? I don't even give a shit. I'll be honest. Sometimes, depending on the stream, or depending on the guest, because I do shit live. And I can't have dead air. I'll be like, fill in the dead air. You know what I do? I have a bottle right off screen, and I'll pee in the bottle real quick because I can't. I'm in the middle of a broadcast. What can I do?
So Jeff, one of the reasons I guess I can include this in the edit if I want, but because I'm going to cut out the pee break. But
right.
But one of the reasons streaming actually bothers me as a concept for me is sometimes I just got to shit, dude. I had my gallbladder out years ago, and when it happens, there is no stopping it. There's no stopping it. So, like, if I'm streaming...
You can't stream alone then. You can't... Yeah, it's like...
I know. I'd have to have 3 people just so I could be like...
You know what's weird, though?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, and I'm super serious. I just told you what I do in case I do have to pee.
Yeah.
But almost never have I ever had to leave to pee or take a dump. It's like my body instinctively knows that like it has to conserve. Like if I'm on an airplane, I don't have to take a shit or I don't have to pee. Like I just don't do it. Yeah. And then the moment I get within like 10 feet of my door at my house, I have to go so fucking bad. Like it's like my body goes into this like slow, like my metabolism or something, like something slows down because it knows.
One time your bowels are very reactive with your mind too.
It makes perfect sense. One time we did 5.5 hours. The longest stream on my show, We did 5.5 hours, and I don't think I got up to pee once. Maybe I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'm trying to remember.
I'm getting too old where I gotta look every hour and a half. It's gonna happen. 2 hours. It's gotta happen. So yeah, like, and when let me tell you something. When you have your gallbladder out, it just becomes like you can ask anyone that's ever had their gallbladder out. When the call of the wild happens, you need to answer it.
You answer it. You answer it. I totally get that. And I respect
the live
it.
streaming thing, because even doing this, like I don't mind interrupting a conversation with you. We've got that rapport. But if I have a guest on that I like,
you can't. Yeah,
like if if I asked somebody slightly famous to come on, and I'm like, shit, I have got to take a dump. Like I have to prepare the day during that day. Like don't eat anything, just stay completely hungry, and just.
That's the question. So why not? So limit your stream to like an hour.
So when I do people like that where I know I can't take a break, I'll say like, hey, it's just an hour Zoom. Don't worry about it. Like that's all it is. So I'll do that on purpose because I want to just be like that way. Even if I get the thing, I can just make it. If I got like an hour. So talk about getting old and going bald and everything. That's my that's one of my crosses to bear.
Okay, what's your number? So, where are we at? Are you at number...
Let's go. You're number 7. You're number 7.
No, I just did Del Lord and Jules White. Oh no, yeah, right. You just did yours. Now
Kiva
I'm at
Schaffer
number 7.
Was my 8. So what's your number?
I'm at 7. Yeah, I'm at 7. Okay. So for this number 7, I guess. Yeah, he's totally. I call him a comedy. I mean, he makes genre stuff too, but I'd call him a comedy filmmaker first and foremost. He made a film that you definitely would find in the comedy section. A lot of his films, I think you'd find in his comedy section. 3 of his films are just like fucking like masterpieces for me.
Okay,
that is Adam Rifkin, aka Riff Coogan. Is on there, and those 3 movies are Detroit Rock City. Even though I'm not a Kiss fan, Detroit Rock City
doesn't matter.
The Chase, right? It doesn't matter. The Chase and The Dark Backward, 3 fucking just masterpiece films that I love to death. Plus, I know it's one of your favorite documentaries. It's a documentary that I hold so dear to my heart.
I know what you're
Giuseppe
gonna say.
Makes a Movie. Fucking awesome.
I mean, you know how much I think if you go to my
we've spoken about it. Yes.
If anyone goes to my personal YouTube channel, the last video I uploaded like 9 months ago is when I actually had communication with Adam Rifkin for like a month because I interviewed him for Kevin Smith's old website, and he was the greatest dude. He did this whole interview for me, and he photoshopped himself in a gorilla suit for no reason and was like, put this in the article. Like, the guy is great. He's really funny, and I still have his phone number to this day. Like, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to bother him. I don't think he knows who I am anymore. But his fan, like, he's always super reactive. If you ever tag him on stuff on Twitter, if you even talk about him and you don't tag him, he'll find it. He's very interactive with his fans and stuff.
Awesome.
He wrote a lot of movies I truly love that he didn't direct. He wrote Small Soldiers.
Yes.
And
Mousetrap.
Mouse Hunt.
Mouse Hunt.
Mouse Hunt is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Mouse Hunt. I love Small Soldiers. So like on top of the stuff that he directed, Jeff, I'm a huge fan. He's not actually on my list. He's on my reserve, my honorable mentions, which is why I have too many. I got too many. Like for you, it was hard. It was hard to fill 10. For me, it was like, how do I
actually? I added 3 honorable mentions since we started.
That's fine. That's okay.
But I'm not gonna talk about them in depth. But I'm just
we'll do at the end. We'll do an honorable mention list.
Sure.
But Adam Rifkin he's also made some non-comedies that are amazing. Like his last movie Star was great. If you saw that,
I have not seen that yet.
You got to see it, Jeff. It's
on my queue for Amazon Prime, I think.
Know that was like Burt Reynolds' last movie, and you will cry.
Yeah, he loved Burt Reynolds too.
And Burt Reynolds like literally thanked him for it. He was like, "Thank you, like you did something special for me," and it's just like
pretty awesome.
You just want to cry. Also, Look is a drama. Have you seen Look?
I have not seen Look, and I've not seen A Night at the Golden Eagle.
Dude,
I have not seen. I have seen National Lampoon's Stoned Age that he made and starred in, which is so funny.
But you got to see Jeff. I really would love for your reaction to Night at the Golden Eagle. It's totally different for him, and it's so awesome.
Yeah, I
gotta
listen.
see it.
Every I want to see everything he's done, and I've never seen Tuesday. I've only seen the clip with Nicolas Cage, but I've never seen the full film. One of the greatest Nicolas Cage cameos of all time. Oh,
Yeah.
you guys need a ride?
Also, if you remember the movie Chillerama.
Yes, I've seen Chillerama. He did Wadzilla.
Yeah, I mean, that was my favorite segment of Chillerama.
Which, by the way, like the fact that he did that on such a small budget, like that
awesome.
he did like a giant King Kong's parody spoof on like probably $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah, they did not have money in that movie.
No, they did not.
Their budgets were not there.
They did not, and so it's kind of amazing that he. We've never talked about the movie Crip guys, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
I like the movie Crip guys. I've followed their stuff for a long time, but yeah. So anyway.
So yeah, like he is totally, last word on him. I've asked Adam Rifkin to do me 2 favors in my life, and he has enthusiastically been on board. So
that's awesome.
Not only am I a fan, but I like him as a person.
I tweeted at him to see if I could get him on my show. I said, "Hey, Adam, do you know how I can get in touch with Riff Coogan? I really want to have him on my show."
What do you say?
I never checked to see if he responded or not. I did it on Twitter. It's weird. Sometimes I don't. No, I just tweeted at him. Sometimes I don't get notifications to let me know things on Twitter, and I have to like physically go check and look.
Okay.
So I never actually checked to see if he responded or not.
I have a list of, you're on this list. I have a list of Shrimp Night guests, potential to ask. I have a friends list and a famous section, and you
got to have him on Shrimp Night.
He's on my famous section, and I would definitely want to talk to him about doing me favors for this kid who didn't have any right to ask him for anything. So
for sure.
So my number 7 is one of my heroes. He's one of the most insular comedy filmmakers, I think you could argue. He's made a lot of films, mostly starring himself and directed by himself.
Oh, wait. Let me see if I can guess this guy. Or keep giving me more guesses.
His brother is a very famous comedy actor who played Super Dave Osborne.
Albert Brooks.
Yeah, it's Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks, I could not put him on my list. He is, to me, for what most people grew up with Woody Allen and that influence, Albert Brooks is my Woody Allen. Like, I was not a Woody Allen fan as growing up. No one introduced me to Woody Allen.
Neither was I.
But Albert Brooks was that he was like kind of the funnier.
I was about to say, he is like, I don't know what you would call it. He's a parallel. He's like a contemporary parallel, in the same sort of vein.
He was doing the same thing. I'm more of a fan of how he did it, and I'm more of a fan of the character that comes with it, because it comes with his movies. Also, he's also kind of a visionary, in my opinion. Like a lot of his movies, like watch the movie Real Life, and you'll see a man literally guessing what the entirety of television and media will be like in 30 years, just you watch his movies, and he was always either trying to dissect something or he was actually going way farther than he should for the time.
Confession, I don't know if I've ever seen an Albert Brooks movie.
Oh, come on. I know you have.
I'm going to check right now. I don't think I've seen movies he's acted in, but I don't know if I've seen any movies that he starred in.
You really?
No, sorry, that he's directed is what I meant to say.
He's directed? Really? I can't believe that.
I'm checking right now.
I mean, he's definitely done a lot of voice work. He's in broadcast news. He's in Drive.
No, I've seen him in movies, of course. I'm talking about as a director.
So he's only directed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies.
Real Life. I mean, that he's got a body work. Oh, he did direct The Muse. Okay.
I love The Muse. You haven't seen Defending Your Life?
No.
You need Jeff. You need to.
This was when I was working at a synagogue. This was one of the movies for the night. They did do a movie night with Jewish filmmakers, and Defending Your Life was that movie, but I've not seen it.
It's an absolute must. I'm telling you, you'll love it.
I honestly, Jeff, put it on my list.
I think you should watch everything from Real Life. I've never seen The Famous Comedian School, whatever that is, but everything was worth a watch.
Sure.
They all have their own angle. They're all very interesting. Looking for comedy in the Muslim world, he stopped there because I guess it wasn't received very well, but I still find it kind of funny. That's obviously from the Bush era.
So, I mean, he's one of those filmmakers like John Waters, like, all these guys try about, who, like, you go for that, for his, you're not going
for his voice.
Yeah, you're not going to see a Woody Allen film because fucking Javier whatever his name is in it. Mm-hmm. You're going because it's a Woody Allen film. Same thing with Quentin Tarantino. Same thing with Kevin Smith. Same thing with, like, you're going for the voice of the auteur, I guess.
Yeah, and I think he's, like, you brought up the best point, is he's interesting because he is this weird sort of parallel of Woody Allen, except Albert Brooks came from, like, he was on SNL and he wanted to make movies for SNL, and then it just sort of transitioned into actual feature films. Like, he came from a different place than Woody Allen originally, and it shows. But yeah, there's like a parallel there that I guess Jewish filmmakers that had their own auteurist vision in comedy in a certain era. But yeah, one of my heroes, he had to be on the list.
Awesome.
That was number 7. So what's your number 6?
Respect.
Yeah.
My number 6 is one that is near and dear to my heart. I would have never pursued filmmaking if it wasn't for this guy. I have a lot of, I look up to a lot of, sort of older male figures for fatherly advice. Yes, I have a father, but it's like, these are areas where I don't connect with my father in this kind of way.
Okay.
So I always have, like, these people that are sort of like one-sided father figures. Like, they don't know me, but I know them very well, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And
Kevin Smith has always been that kind of, he's been that voice in my head, like that encouraging voice. And never has anybody encouraged me more to be creative, to go out and do stuff. And I'll tell you something, I've been listening to Smodcast since February of 2007 without stopping. Like, you
never faltered on the list.
Never faltered. I always
listen. You know what? I listen to Fat Man Beyond now more than I listen.
I love Fat Man Beyond. Yeah. But you know what's funny? I've listened to all of his other shows, but they always fall away. I never, ever. Sometimes, I'll let a couple weeks build up, and then a couple months build up, and then I watch them all. But I have never stopped listening to Smodcast. It's always been with me. So I have literally, even though I don't know Kevin Smith, I do know Kevin Smith, and I have been with him and his life and his career from 2007 to now. And he means so much to me. And I'll tell you something, his films are far from perfect, and I'll be the first one to sort of, I have a lot of critical things to say about his films. I think a lot of his stuff, he's either repeating or going back to something that's safe, or like, it's all whole different stuff. As a matter of fact,
they're 100% him, though.
They're 100% him. And listen, I always have a good time when I go. And some of the films that I revisit, I don't watch them because they're necessarily good films. I watch them because they mean something deep to me. Mm-hmm. I think the bravest thing he ever did was make Tusk, even though it doesn't quite work for me as a film always.
It totally
like
works
the comedy.
For me. I love it.
The comedy doesn't work for me, but
yeah.
I never admired that man more when he, like, just said, fuck everybody. Well, I'm going to make this movie about a walrus man, and, like, just did something super original, and that it was birthed out of a podcast. And I tweeted it at him the other day, because you could tweet at Kevin and sometimes he'll heart your shit. And, and I said something like, look, like, it was just what you did was just original and daring, whether it stuck the landing or not. And then, I look at, like,
a divisive movie.
Yeah, it's a very divisive movie. And then you look at a film like fucking Jane Silent Bob Reboot, which is, not really, I mean, it's a movie, but it's like,
it's not, it's like, so, okay. Jeff, I love Kevin Smith. Before I say what I'm going to say, he is one of the reasons. Like, there's people who inspire me to make movies. Spielberg is the reason I was like, first, like, I kind of want to make movies. Like, he was the reason. Right. Kevin Smith and Ed Sanchez are the reasons that somebody said, "Hey, you can make movies." You know what I mean? Like there's the people that made me like understand what movies were, and then there's the people in the '90s who were like, "Oh, by the way, anyone can make a movie.
Anyone can make a movie. You know, and you just need to make people talking about whatever."
Right.
You know?
Kevin Smith is literally one of those like engines that, just like told everyone like, yes, you can do it too. So I admire him. I've seen him live several times. I have written for his website. I have spoken to him in person. I love Kevin Smith. A lot of people accuse me of wearing a Halloween costume of him every day of my life. My life has been very intertwined with him. That said, I totally admire what his Smodcast Pictures years have been, because he found a way to make films that are fully paid for and received by the audience that wants them. So anyone outside of that criticizes them, it's almost useless, because he made a movie, he paid for it, and it made its money back. He literally did the thing he wanted to do. He moved out of the Hollywood machine, and he's doing it. Now, that said, I think that Jay and Silent Bob Reboot has a lot of wonderful things in it. But when I went to, I saw that here at the legendary Senator Theater with him in person. Was a really great night.
I saw it at the Terrytown. I saw it with him in person.
Right. That said, the movie is maybe like the actual filmmaking of Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is pretty terrible. Like it's like his worst editing job ever. It's
and he doesn't end the movie. The movie doesn't end. He figures out like he gets.
It's a fan film. It's like a fan film of Kevin Smith. It's like he made his own fan film.
He gets to a point at the end of the movie where he literally writes himself into a corner and then basically just like jumps ahead or something into the future. Like it just doesn't. It just was not. It was whatever. But in my mind,
it does a lot of fun things though. That's not.
There's some fun scenes.
No value or anything.
And I still think that he has plenty of gusto in him to make like I think Clerks 3 is going to probably be great. I'm very excited.
So when I say I want everyone to know when I say the filmmaking, I mean like the actual like nuts and bolts of filming and editing and like craft.
Well, I mean, he has that Ben Affleck scene goes on for like fucking 8 minutes, and it's like
look at Tusk or look at Red State. They were actually production and stylistic steps up for Kevin Smith.
Totally, 150% agree.
Which is great.
Yep.
But then it's like he felt like he stepped back and he respected himself less with some of the subsequent stuff. And I'm like, why are you making this look worse when you actually like kind of made a step forward?
Actually, I'll be honest with you, even though Yoga Hosers has like more of a goofy tone, but I thought Yoga Hosers was an incredibly original movie as well.
Yeah, I don't hate Yoga Hosers, even though everyone seems to, but I don't hate it.
You know who hates it more than anyone, or at least, this is what he does. He did the same thing with Mallrats. His whole approach is I'm gonna bash it harder than you're gonna bash it, so,
so
you don't have any power.
It's always been thing.
But like I if I could say like if I had dinner with Kevin Smith, one of the things I would say to him is like, I would say, dude, what are you doing that for? Like I know why you're doing it. And I know you're like under like public scrutiny all the time, but like you and deep down, what I know, and I know the same thing about Jersey Girl. I know the same thing about Mallrats. I know he doesn't believe that shit. But he just says it because he wants to disarm the critics, because critic barbs can hurt. And Kevin is a very sensitive guy. He's a very sensitive dude. He's a big teddy bear. He's very emotional. He really is touched by, he's a real humanist. Yeah. He's really a humanist, and he's a very like sort of like humble and personable kind of guy. And, and again, I'm saying all this like I know the guy. I don't know the guy, but I've listened. I've literally been in the room without speaking through the podcast for that many years, for over a decade now.
I mean, I was going to the evenings with Kevin Smith before Smodcast.
I went to the evening as well, and I asked him a question, and he made fun of me a little bit, and I loved it in 2004. But you know what the biggest irony is that, we were talking this first part of the conversation about podcasting and streaming and all this stuff. It did not come from Kevin Smith. Like, I did not listen to Kevin Smith and then go, I'm going to follow in his footsteps the way I want to follow and be a filmmaker. When I started the podcasting thing, I completely fell into it and was not thinking once about Kevin Smith. And then one day I was listening to Smodcast and it suddenly fucking dawned on me. And I was like, oh my God, you're fucking podcasting just like Kevin Smith podcasts. Like you're literally doing it. You spent years and years listening. I never had a desire. I could give zero fucks about podcasting. Mm-hmm. And now once I figured out that I could do it on the YouTube space, all of a sudden, like I can't stop. But it was not
like a subconscious influence type of thing.
Maybe it was a subconscious influence. I think I came to it at my own terms, but I found it profound that something that I've drawn so much encouragement from and positivity, like Smodcast, like that it wasn't more conscious.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind.
Yeah. So Smodcast was actually, I started podcasting because my buddy, my wonderful friend, my co-host of Bonus Disc, he reeled me in to start podcasting. But my reason for keeping going was actually, he was one of the reasons. Like, because to me, my only door in for the actual famous podcast was Smodcast.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is actually a thing that people are listening to and responding to. I think I'll keep doing it. I think I'll keep going. Like he was one of those inspirations to keep doing it. But I wanted to ask you before we move on.
Right.
What is your favorite Kevin Smith film out of all of them?
Ooh. Well, like I said, I
have a pretty clear answer, but I wanted to know yours.
I think one of his most brash, you know, this is a weird question, man.
It is.
It's a weird question. Okay, so his best film critically.
Well, I want to know your favorite.
No, well, my favorite is I can't. It's not my favorite. Like I have to like give you. So my most sentimental is probably Mallrats because it's the first one that I saw. No,
same.
Most sentimental. Okay, most sentimental is Clerks because of the filmmaking stuff and how the heart and everything. My personal favorite is probably Mallrats. His probably one of his best films of critical acclaim, or his most critically, I don't know, his best critical film, I guess, would be Dogma, split with Chasing Amy has not really aged that well, in my opinion.
People still love it, yeah.
I love Chasing Amy, don't get me wrong, but like I look at like that was made
it's interesting
at a very particular time by a very particular
90s
person.
Outlook. It's like 90s.
Yeah, it's
woke.
A 90s outlook.
It's 90s
That's what
woke.
it is.
Like it's not.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
It's not like any. I don't. You know, Kevin Smith is like. I've always said Kevin Smith is sort of like Jay in real life. Jay says a lot of stuff that is not okay in those movies, and everyone just sort of like, he's such a teddy bear and he kind of is innocent and doesn't know what he's doing, so everyone kind of forgives it. I don't think anyone is out to cancel Kevin Smith or even be offended by some of the stuff he made in the 90s because it's obvious he was kind of like dense about some stuff, you know?
Well, I mean,
like with the Chasing Amy
is
stuff.
not. Yeah, but Chasing Amy is not. It's not. First of all, it's not like, I don't think it falls into that territory. It's just that like some of the, I think the ideas are just kind of like they're from a very particular point of view, from a certain level of maturity. For a certain level of maturity, and I'm sure when Kevin Smith. Like, if you were to ask him to his face and be like, so, like, what do you think about the guy? Because Kevin loves talking about past Kevin versus present Kevin. And he'd probably be like, well, that was that. He compartmentalizes himself in that way. He's like, Kevin of this, Kevin of the 90s. Like, you don't blame me, blame Kevin of the 90s, you know, like that kind of thing.
Do you know, in an interview after he had his heart attack, this has nothing to do with his filmmaking, but it blows my mind. Do you know how much whole milk he drank every day?
4 gallons.
See, you remember too. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Well, I'll tell you something. I had almost an anxiety attack when I listened to that podcast about what happened with his heart, because it was a placebo. Like I started to think I was having a heart attack myself. And I'll tell you something. I've lessened significantly the amount of dairy that I drink. Like I really limit it to cereal or in my coffee. And now I'm really starting to get into like oat milk and plant milk and stuff.
Dude, I've been doing almond for years. So
yeah, the only thing though is cheese. I am I'm like a heroin addict when it comes to cheese. Like I can't get off the cheese. You know?
Yeah. I know. Cheese is a big. That's hard to give up. But dude. 4 gallons of whole milk a day. When he said that, I was like, no, and you smoke? I was like, holy shit, man. No wonder it happened. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like a widow's maker is going to come if you drink 4 gallons of whole milk every day.
Do you know how much that is a week? That is
it's a lot.
Insane.
I don't know. I think he might have been exaggerating. There's no way you could drink 4 gallons of whole milk every day.
Jeff, even 1 gallon a day is insane.
It's insane.
You shouldn't drink a gallon of whole milk.
I literally can drink this much whole milk, like because I use like whole milk in my coffee. Like that's because to me, if I'm going to use like milk, I want it to taste good and I want it to be like, yeah. And you don't need a lot of it if you're using whole milk. Whole milk is like the good shit. Like it's like the dankety dank. So just use the dankety dank stuff. So I use whole milk. I like Fairlife actually is the best because it's triple filtered, a third of the sugar, and it's just like the cows get treated nice and whatnot, as far as I know. As far as dairy cow stuff goes. But really, oat milk has gotten so advanced. It's so you can get the extra creamy with the extra protein in it. It's so good. Like I don't miss milk. I really don't.
Yeah,
cheese, however.
Cheese is hard. I don't drink milk, so cheese is hard to give up. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because
yeah. I know. I remember that.
I remember that fact, and I was like, dude, no wonder, man. But I was going to say easily 100%. My favorite Kevin Smith movie is Dogma. 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say that's his most critically received movie.
Critics are not. That's my favorite just because it's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Mallrats was my first experience in high school. My friend let me borrow the VHS.
Same. And that's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
I love Mallrats. I think that's the one that...
I mean, the Jersey trilogy is essentially the best, you know? Like,
but... I watched Clerks after Mallrats, and I love Clerks.
Me too. Dearly. That was same thing. Yeah. Same thing.
So, but then when I went to the movie theater to see Dogma, I was like, I love like heaven and hell comedies, like so. Yeah. That just spoke to me the most, and because I grew up Catholic, everything. It's just, and that's the movie I laugh at the most, I think. So,
and it's also the rarest now. Very hard to get your hands on a copy of.
Got the Blu-ray.
I have it on DVD.
I also have the rare poster that says "Get Touched by an Angel," which was discontinued because they sued.
Shout out to Mitch Bloom, a kid who I went to school with, who is an extra in Dogma. At the very beginning, you could see him very clearly in the church pews. He's got another kid in a headlock in the opening scene. And I remember, because I was like a Kevin Smith fan even back then, as far back as 97, I was into Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And Mallrats had come out onto VHS, and that's when I got turned on.
Yeah.
And as a teenager, I guess you would call it, or whatever. And Mitch Bloom was like, yeah, I'm in Dogma. I was like, whoa!
That's awesome.
So, All right,
Kevin
next
Smith,
one.
What could be said? That was your number 6, right?
That was my number 6.
So my number 6, it's two guys, and you probably guessed from me just talking about them. They're responsible for the gross out comedy fad of the 90s.
I already know who you're going to say, and they're on my list too.
I feel like they kind of gave us Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah, they totally did.
And I still love Jim Carrey. I don't care what anyone tells me. I'm still a huge Jim Carrey fan.
Me too. Love Jim Carrey.
People seem to like either hate him or like there's like this like growing number of people who hate him.
Did you watch Mr. Pickles? Not Mr. Pickles. What the fuck is that show?
Showtime. Yeah, the Showtime show. Yeah,
it's great.
So good. I'm just a huge fan of his, but obviously I'm talking about the Farrelly brothers.
Yep, they're on my list.
Yeah, they are on your list. Okay, what
number 4?
They're number 4. They're number 6 on mine.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, Dumb and Dumber. I like when it came out. I was like, "This is whatever this is. It is fucking for me."
And they did the Three Stooges movie as well.
I love the Three Stooges movie. It's not perfect, but I love it. Man, I love it, and I wish
the kid subplot was unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, but you know what? If they had, I feel like if they were able to keep going, they could really have nailed some great
Will
stuff.
Sasso, I have been saying for years before that, I always thought in my head, I said, Will Sasso has to be Curly.
Dude, so they remember when, do you remember the original cast was supposed to be
Jim Carrey,
Benicio del Toro, and Sean Penn. Now that would have been a hit because of the star power.
Yeah.
But what in the end what happened was they found 3 guys who were perfect. Like those 3 dudes are the right choice versus the more box office laden choice, which I would have loved to see.
And Larry David's in it.
Larry David's a nun in it, right? I actually watched it 2 months ago.
I have not seen it in almost 10 years.
Oh, it's still funny.
I need to revisit it.
It's still funny. I mean, they love the 3
Have
Stooges.
it right over there.
Oh yeah, it's still funny. But I was already a fan then, but like seriously, what they did in the 90s is why they're on my list, because Dumb and Dumber and Kingpin were like,
yeah, dude,
they were like formative for me. You know?
Myself, and Irene.
Me, Myself, and Irene.
Mary.
Yeah,
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, like there's a few stinkers in there.
Stuck on You.
Stuck on You's great. I'm not a big fan of Fever Pitch. Whatever, it's fine, but but there's a few, and he eventually made Green Book, which I'm not really hot on, which shouldn't have won the Oscar, but whatever, like
I've seen Green Book.
Right,
you know,
but their comedy work is I don't think anyone can argue with it. I mean,
you can't touch it. You really can't touch it.
I even like the second Dumb and Dumber. I think it's really funny.
They make the best dramas. They make phenomenal dramas. So good.
Such good drama, dramatic work.
Such good dramas.
Such good. But dude, you know how many times I watched Dumb and Dumber on VHS? I broke the fucking VHS.
Oh my god!
I broke it.
Mock, Ingber.
Yeah, right.
My brother and I have this inside joke, and I know you're going to know what it is. Whenever he'll hand me a cup of coffee, or I'll hand him a cup of coffee, and we always go, because we do that thing. We always do it.
The one I always do is so big gulps, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, see you later. I don't know why I always makes me laugh.
I mean, it's funny. Like, you should just do that at every gas station you're at, no matter what. Even if someone's not drinking a big gulp, just turn to someone, as long as they have a drink in their hand, just be like, "So big gulps, huh? See you later.
Right, see you later." Yeah. Like I don't know. That movie is so formative to me. I couldn't love it more. But I love, Kingpin. I watched just as much, and I think that has one of the all-time greatest Bill Murray performances.
Bill Murray comb over, dude. There's the comb over. That's the comb over I want.
The comb overs at the end of that movie during the bowling scene is like incredible. Just them all flopped over and nobody actually paying attention to it.
All right, here's an interesting fact, here's an interesting factor. How about this observation that I just noticed?
Okay.
All comedies are also cult movies.
I don't know.
Correction. All beloved comedies, all classic comedies, all comedies that become classics are cult films. Dumb and Dumber is a cult film.
So
there's something about Mary, cult film.
The reason I would agree with you there is because, much like, what was it, the great Robert Ebert once said, reviewing comedy movies is about as useful as reviewing porn, because what makes a person laugh and what makes them come is equally as personal. Like, it's reviewing them, it doesn't matter.
What a quote.
Well, reviewing them doesn't matter. Like, you can't describe why something doesn't make you laugh just as much as you almost can. You know what I mean? Like, it's so personal. So with that, yes, I could maybe see the argument for a comedy has to be a cult because only a certain portion of the population will find it funny. There's some things that are universal, like Three Stooges, like, slapstick, that kind of thing. I think that plays, there's a reason there's like no one more famous for slapstick comedy than Mr. Bean throughout the world, because Mr. Bean can play right. I love Mr. Bean. Don't get me wrong. I fucking adore Mr. Bean.
Whistler's mother.
I love that. But Mr. Bean works in every language.
Yeah,
literally every language on earth.
Same thing as slapstick.
Rowan Atkinson. Like, people don't realize this. Rowan Atkinson is like royalty of a celebrity in most countries. He can go anywhere, and they because he is that popular in other countries. It's ridiculous. So I can see what you're saying though with stuff like the Farrelly Brothers. Yes, they're sort of a cult because some people are gonna like revisit some of their movies and hate them. You know what I mean? Like they're not gonna hold up.
Dude. But Mr. Bean, that Bean movie was just.
Dude, I love the second one. I am a big fan of the second one.
I don't remember the second one as much, but that first one was so fucking good.
I used to watch the show religiously with my father, and my tradition is no matter what, every Christmas Eve, I watch Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean. That's like my one tradition is to watch that episode of the show.
Because it like makes you feel connected to your father.
It makes me feel connected to my father, and also I love it. It just makes me feel like Christmas.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like, feel the holiday spirit. But yeah, Mr. Bean is really important to me. But that's not really a director though. Mel Smith directed the first movie, if you know who Mel Smith is. He's the torturer in Princess Bride.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy who tortures Carrie Elwes in Princess Bride. He's also in a movie I truly adore called Brain Donors. If you've ever seen Brain Donors,
no, I don't think I have seen.
Jeff,
Brain
write
Donors.
it down. You want to see Brain Donors?
All right. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up right now.
Directed by Dennis Dugan, and it was produced by David Zucker.
Brain Donors.
It's sort of the '90s take on the Marx Brothers with John Turturro in the lead.
Oh wow.
I love it so dearly. I
will definitely check this out.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. Let's keep going because I don't want to take another 5 hours.
Yeah, we don't want this to be. He said to me, guys,
let's keep it to 90 minutes.
He said 90 minutes, and I jokingly said no, 3 hours, 4 hours, just joking, sarcastic. And yet here we fucking are.
I'm sorry, Jeff. If you
it's
have
not.
To go.
Hey. No. Oh no. We are seeing this list through to the end.
Okay,
I am committed.
Okay,
I am committed. We just knocked one down because I also had the Farrelly Brothers. So I'm at my number 5, I guess. That was my 4.
Yes,
I'm at my 5.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another controversial pick.
Go for it. I'm ready.
He is a disciple of the Three Stooges, and he's made 3 films. He's made 3 films that to me are just as much comedy as they are horror, even though they would be classified as horror. You already know who it is. Come on. You
said he's only made 3 films, or he's made 3 films?
No. He's made many films, but 3 films.
Is he directing a Doctor Strange movie?
He might be.
Is it Sam Raimi?
It is Sam Raimi.
Yeah. See, I said that at the beginning when we were talking about what is comedy. It's hard to argue that those movies. It's hard to argue Army of Darkness isn't a comedy. It's hard to argue that.
Here's the thing. Even the evil. Well, Army of Darkness is absolutely a comedy, even though it's a horror film. It's a horror adventure comedy. Evil Dead 2: Dead by Dawn is one of the most
quintessential horror comedies ever.
But it's just the tone is just so. It's like it's so on another level. The tone of the balance of comedy and horror. It's like, again, in the same way, I'm going to use a very weird analogy here, but Bradley Nowell from the band Sublime realized that he could switch over from punk to reggae music using ska.
Okay.
Because ska is sort of connected to both. You could have ska punk, you can have reggae ska, and he would just flip. A song could go from really slow, almost like a reggae feel, to fast punk rock with a little pickup in the middle that was like the ska part. Mm-hmm. And that's what Sam Raimi is doing with Evil Dead 2, with the horror and the comedy.
Perfect transitions too.
The perfect transition. He understands it, and basically because the bottom line and the key for Sam Raimi is slapstick is violence. Ultimately, all slapstick is violence,
and all violence is slapstick,
and all violence is slapstick. And who's the best example of that ever? Quentin Tarantino. Look no further than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. When people were up in arms about the violence at the end of the movie, I was kind of beside myself because I'm going, "What are you talking about? It's fucking slapstick. He's literally doing slapstick." Someone gets hit in the face with a fucking frying pan. He's literally
I'm not ashamed to say, Jeff, I was laughing loudly and hysterically that whole time. So
I mean,
I don't know what that says about me.
The dude kicks
but...
the fucking door down and has a flamethrower and sets someone on fire.
Yeah,
like,
it's not reality.
It's just so. It's pure slapstick.
Right.
It's just so. It's so balls to the wall. And The Evil Dead is brilliant in this way because The Evil Dead is doing the same thing. The Evil Dead is doing it on a whole other level. A Dead by Dawn, the second one and the third one, they're pulling the veil down and going, hey, yeah, we're doing slapstick here.
So like this is when I came to Sam Raimi through Army of Darkness. That was my first Sam Raimi.
Me too.
And I love every Evil Dead thing, like the show, the movies.
Oh, I would also include Drag Me to Hell in this as well.
I love Drag Me to Hell.
Absolutely comedy.
But I think a lot of there is a good section of people that hate Army of Darkness because of the tone. For me, that's why it's my favorite, because I am more of a silly guy. I love horror, but I am more of a silly guy. The fact that Army of Darkness just admits we're doing Three Stooges bits, the fact that it just lays bare, like, hey, we're not even going to play anymore. It is just Three Stooges jokes. That's why I like Army of Darkness. That's why I fell in love with it, and that's why
even Ash versus the Evil Dead, you would also put in that as well, because that's obviously
they're obviously doing it.
So that's all Sam Raimi,
but I want to mention Crime Wave.
Yeah. Oh my God, we cannot forget about Crime Wave.
Crime Wave is literally a pure comedy movie.
It's so fucking good too. It is pure comedy. It's pure comedy, and you want to know what it is? It's for people who are dying for another Evil Dead movie. They're literally playing with their entire bag of tricks from Evil Dead, but they are not doing an Evil Dead film. So it's like every time you go to a Sam Raimi movie, you're chasing the dragon. You're hoping you're going to get that same aesthetic. We get it briefly in Spider-Man 2. You get it every once in a while. Sam Raimi will like he does in the cemetery scene for Drag Me to Hell.
I can't wait imagine what he's going to do with a Marvel budget with that. It's going to be incredible.
Listen, I haven't watched the trailer. Haven't watched a single trailer.
I watched it like 5 times.
I just want to go in. Fucking blind. I can't wait to see Bruce Campbell. It's going to be fucking excellent.
Dude, if Bruce Campbell is an alternate universe Doctor Strange,
he is.
1 second,
he totally is. He totally is.
He has to be.
That's literally what came to my mind.
That has to happen.
But here's the thing about the first Evil Dead that stands above the rest. The first Evil Dead is subversively slapstick, as opposed to
I agree.
Like Dead by Dawn and Army of Darkness are. Dead by Dawn is, as I said, doing that balancing act, and as you said, Army of Darkness is doing the full on, like breaking the fourth wall. It's breaking the fourth wall and going, hey, this is slapstick. But the first Evil Dead is subversively, all of the horror is slapstick in a subversive way. It's under the surface. It's not right on the surface. And it's clearly influenced by the Three Stooges, and therefore elevates the art even higher, because it's saying a message about how all violence is really just slapstick and all slapstick is really just violence.
As much as we both obviously love the Farrelly brothers, can you imagine if Raimi got to make his version of a new Three Stooges movie? It's almost a totally different approach. I mean, it would just be nuts,
that is an orgasmic proposition.
It's such an orgasmic one.
Fuck, dude. Would that be great? That would be great.
It'd be so great. But yeah,
I would love that.
Anyone listening, like, seriously, I mean, obviously, I've always been a super fan of Sam Raimi, but if you haven't watched Crime Wave, find it. It's on Blu-ray, I think.
It is. It's on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. I bought it. Right. You know, it's funny. I watched it all the way through. Yeah. I watched it all the way through, and then as soon as I was done watching it all the way through, I watched it all the way through again with Bruce Campbell does a commentary, and Bruce Campbell was really involved in the filmmaking of that movie. Yeah. And I'll tell you, the camera tricks, again, you're literally getting a 20-something Sam Raimi. You're getting a 20-something Sam Raimi, Robert Tappert, and Bruce Campbell.
And the Coen brothers.
And the Coen brothers with all of the chops that they had from their first film, but with a $3 million budget. Like, you just can't, it doesn't get better.
It's wonderful. It annoys me that it's not more popular, I guess.
Yeah. It's a deep cut, but it's a great deep cut.
It is.
So
I do love it. So it's one of the best, like, if I could think of top 5 cartoon movies that are live action.
Yeah.
Crime Wave would be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was your
I have
number,
2 left. Yeah. I have 2 left.
What was that? What number was that for you?
That was number 5, and Fairley Brothers was number 4, and John Waters is number 2. So I only have my 1 pick and my 3 pick left.
We'll get to
Go
it.
ahead. Go to yours.
So my
now.
number 5 is a weird choice, and I'm proud of this choice because she was very influential in my life in the movies she made, and I think that she doesn't get the recognition she deserves. But my number 5, is Amy Heckerling. She directed a bunch of classics such
Night
as
at the Roxbury.
No, she didn't direct that.
Yes, she did.
No.
Really?
No, it's somebody. I think it's somebody else. But
hold on, Amy.
You can look it up.
I gotta look her up. Yeah.
She directed movies. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Johnny Dangerously, one of my favorite spoof movies of all time. Love Johnny Dangerously. Unpopular opinion, she directed European Vacation, which is one of my favorite vacation movies.
Excuse.
Unpopular opinion, she directed Look Who's Talking 1 and 2. I love those movies. I don't care what
those are fun.
Says.
I love those movies. And I like the third one. I even like the third one.
The third one's fine. Yeah, I like it. I used to watch it all the time. And of course, I think her probably
she did
directed.
Clueless.
She directed Clueless. That's her. I would say that's her biggest undisputed masterpiece.
Okay, she did not do A Night at the Roxbury. I was wrong.
It's I forget the name of the person that did, but
she was supposed to sleep with Chris Kattan. There was a whole scandal about her
about that thing. Kattan. Yeah. Anyway, so she did some mostly TV work since then. It looks like Vamps. That was actually pretty good. Loser with what's his name? The guy from American Pie.
Oh yeah, she did that. I remember Loser.
That was okay. I like that. But obviously, Clueless is you can't argue Clueless. European Vacation, man, that is a staple of my childhood. Johnny Dangerously is still one of the funniest
she did European.
Movies.
I'm thinking of the other one, the newer one with Excusey. You're talking about with Chevy Chase. I'm thinking of the other one.
With Ed Helms?
No. Euro Trip. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, no. I'm talking Chevy Chase European Vacation.
Right.
But yeah, Johnny Dangerously, European Vacation, Fast Times, Clueless. That's enough for me.
That's a lot.
Those are all formative movies of my life. So Amy Heckerling definitely deserves to be on my list.
Love Johnny Dangerously so much.
Oh my God, right? It's so fucking funny.
Haven't seen it in so long.
It's
Fargan bastages.
You Fargan Isles. Yeah, it's that fucking movie, man. I love it so deep. Michael Keaton is hilarious. He's a hilarious comedy actor.
He's in a movie. He's in a movie called The Dream Team, which is a great comedy.
Dude, you know who you're talking to? The Dream Team. Are you kidding? I fucking love The Dream Team. It's
fucking
the best.
Love The Dream Team.
What a cast too. Oh,
and The Dream Team is almost like it's sort of like a spiritual companion to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I
love that movie so much.
Yep.
Anyway, so we'll keep moving to keep things going. What's your number 4?
You know what? I have 1 and 3. So why don't you do your number 4?
My number 4 is a man who, much like Albert Brooks, he wanted to make stuff on SNL. He ended up having his own show. He always had more cinematic ideas, and he wanted to be a director more than he wanted to be an actor.
Wait. Stay it slow. Go back to what was I want to try and guess who this is. Say it again.
So much like Albert Brooks, who wanted to make comedy films on SNL more than be in sketches.
Right.
This man also wanted to do the same. Eventually, this guy also had his own sketch show, which basically let him do all of his very cinematic sketch ideas. And then eventually,
I know who it is.
He starred in a lot of comedies, but he also
Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Ben Stiller is also on my list.
Okay, great, because
that's my number 3. That's my number 3.
Dude, that's my number 4. So we're very in sync there.
Wow.
Ben Stiller, what he doesn't get credit for is him being a genius comedy filmmaker, in my opinion.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Zoolander, Tropic Thunder, The Cable Guy. I mean, come on.
Those are 3 masterpieces, in my opinion.
Masterpieces, dude.
Right there. And he has this eye for things that kind of delve under the skin and get kind of sick in a way. Like the reason I love The Cable Guy isn't just because Jim Carrey's being silly. It's because it's actually demented.
Oh, it's dark. It's so dark.
It's ahead of its time. It's sad. It's got all this range of emotions, and that's because
borderline could have been a horror film, or could be easily be remade as a horror film.
Right. Like Jim Carrey is totally crucial to that movie, but Ben Stiller makes that movie what it is, like it's like his eye and the way he edits things,
like,
and the way
it kills me that he's not I wish he was a fucking Woody Allen making a film.
I seriously,
a funny film. Every 3 years or something we got a new Ben Stiller film. I would be happy with that.
I actually don't hate Zoolander 2, but people don't like it.
It's okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna defend it I'm not gonna die on a hill for it, but that saddens me because it stopped him from making more movies for a long time. Like I was like, because the guy, he was hitting it out of the park for so long, and his movie career, as in him starring and stuff, I thought it's always distracted the public from the fact that Ben Stiller is an incredible director. Man. He's such an incredible director, and I don't feel like the public knows that, even though they're fans of his movies. They don't. When the public thinks of Zoolander, they don't think that is a film by Ben Affleck.
He's 19 years and 5 days older than me.
Okay, sure.
No. Wait. I was born in November 25th, 1985, and he was born November 30th, 1965. Yeah, 19 days. 19 years and 360 days older than me. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
You're like, okay.
Yeah, that's a good fact. I was going to say the two movies I wanted to highlight that don't get talked about a lot is I really love Secret Life of Walter Mitty. People don't talk about that. I think he was actually pretty annoyed that the public didn't grasp it like he wanted them to.
I didn't even bother seeing it.
A lot of people.
It looked like he was trying to go for some. Oh, he directed Reality Bites. I did not realize that.
Walter Mitty is not what you expect. When you watch it. It's not what
he directed Walter Mitty as well. Huh.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about what he directed.
I don't know. It looked like Oscar, trying to go.
It's not.
Like,
it's not. I'm telling you, it's not.
Yeah.
And then of course he directed one of the greatest TV pilots in history, which is Heat Vision and Jack. If you've never seen Heat Vision and Jack,
I'm aware of Heat Vision and Jack. I've never seen it.
The pilot's on YouTube. It's Jack Black and a talking motorcycle. It was going to be a TV show. It just didn't get picked up, but it's just wonderful. So yeah, Ben Stiller. I can't.
Bagman is something that's coming out or announced.
Don't know what that is, but I'm happy.
No, it's about a 1973 political scandal surrounding Richard Nixon's vice president Spiro Agnew.
That sounds
okay. So it's like a real. It's based on a true story. I just want him to make comedy, wow, he was an executive producer on The Ruins. That's so weird. The
Make
horror
that
film.
money, boy.
Damn, good for him.
Ben Stiller can't say enough good things.
Yeah, dude, he is. What?
What?
Dude, he's an executive producer on all of the In the Dark stuff. No.
Oh yeah, really?
No. Is that what oh no, never mind. That's a different show. Tropic Thunder, Tropic Thunder, Cable Guy, and Zoolander, they all have sort of a meta quality to them, or
they're all making fun of something very specific.
Yeah. Right. One's
making fun of the TV generation, one's making fun of method acting, models. Pretty much, and one making fun of the modeling industry, right?
And that's what he does. That is what he does best.
Yes, it is.
Really, truly. And Tropic Thunder, literally, it has so much rewatch value. It's just so.
They're all three kind of comedies that are kind of a warning of excess. You watch too much TV, here's what can happen. Here's the ultimate problem what can happen. Are you too much of a method actor that gets lost in the parts? Here's what can happen. Are you too obsessed with vanity in your career? Here's what can happen, Yeah,
totally. You nailed it. You really nailed it. Phenomenal.
Those things at their worst. So you have one left, right?
I have one left. My number 2 is John Waters. So here's my list up until now. It's 10, Adam McKay, 9, Tommy Wiseau, 8, Del Lord and Jules White, 7, Adam Rifkin, 6, Kevin Smith, 5, Sam Raimi, 4 is the Farrelly brothers, 3 is Ben Stiller, 2 is John Waters, and my number 1 pick. Should I say it, or are you going to go? You do your number 2 first.
I'll do. You do your number 1. Let's go to you.
All right, my number 1.
Through mine.
You already said yours was, this guy was an honorable mention for you. Mm-hmm. This guy basically represents all of my favorite sensibilities in comedy, especially like in the type of comedy that I like. You know, it's funny, like I'm not, like, my goal, my urgency is not to make funny things or to make comedy stuff, but if it was, it would be like stuff like this.
Can I guess?
Yeah, you already know who it is.
Is it David Wayne?
Yeah, it's totally David Wayne.
It's David Wayne. Okay.
David Wayne's number 1, Wet Hot American Summer, and even more so than Wet Hot American Summer is Stella.
Oh God,
Stella is my favorite thing in the world, like comedy wise. Like I love, and Stella is so evocative. Like it's three guys, the Three Stooges, except now it's like an updated version where their comedy is surreal. And yeah, you know, there's like the British version, which is like the Mighty Boosh, which is like, it's okay. But that's
the version of Stella?
No. I'm saying like it's just sort of similar.
It's similar.
In terms of
okay, I thought you meant it was an official like British version of Stella.
No. And you know, it's okay. But I love David Wayne. I love Role Models. I pretty much anything he's ever made, I've seen.
Yeah,
the 10.
Oh, the 10 is so fucking.
It was a goof.
That segment, but the segment of the 10 that had me literally on the floor was the the two dads who keep buying more and more CAT scan machines. I mean, like, that is the fucking funniest shit I have ever seen.
He's just so, like, again, him, Showalter, and Ian Black, like, they have such a weird, like, dynamic.
It's not. The thing is, like, why you could say, why aren't they more popular? But you,
and it's totally like Jewish comedy. I can't explain what it is. It's like this Jewish thing, you know.
As a non-Jew, I can feel that.
Yeah.
But like, but what I'm saying is, like, should they be more popular? Yes, but I understand because their comedy is often so strange. I understand why they're not a little more popular. Like some of David Wayne's stuff has broken out.
Yeah, he tries to be commercial, like Role Models.
Role Models. I mean, What Hot is commercial. I mean, that's like a spoof.
Really? I think, talk about cult.
Oh, that's definitely a cult movie. I'm not disagreeing.
But Wet Hot American, I see you think that's spoof. That's like, to me, that is that surrealist humor. It's surreal. It's not, you know, although I guess,
it does have spoof elements.
It is spoofy. You know, it's interesting.
Also, I mean, like, it has like that. I always thought it was awesome. It has a serious gay sex scene in it, which is this incredibly like forward-thinking part, but also like hilarious in its own right if you think about the time it came out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just to put it in there.
It's definitely play. It's played for comedy.
I thought it was a sweet scene. I always thought it was very sweet.
I mean, it's a fine scene. Like, there's nothing wrong with it or anything. But I just mean, like, I feel like they put that in there because, you know, like, they do a lot of dildo humor too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they play that stuff for laughs because it's not what you're expecting. And it kind of comes from almost this 90s. Like, for instance, it's so weird to think that in the 90s, like, in the writer's room, they were like, oh, I have a great idea for a funny joke. It's two pool guys, and they're cleaning pools, and then they're drinking. It's a beer commercial, but just when you think it's going to be a bunch of hot chicks, it's a bunch of hot guys. And you know what the punchline is? They're gay. You know, it's like Schlitz gay. Gay. That is literally the joke. The joke is just that it's two guys that are into guys instead of girls. And like today,
and it works. I mean, it works. Yeah,
it works for the time it works. But like, when you think about, like, literally, what is the humor? What is the humor of the joke? That they're gay. That's what the humor is.
Well, they're gay, but also it's a parody of the commercial. Like it works because
but it's a parody.
It's a stylistic parody too.
But but it's a parody because it's guys instead of girls, which is so interesting. It's so weird to think that is like
what's funny
played as a joke.
I disagree a little bit because I think that the joke for me works because it's like the company. You have to think of the person who isn't on screen, you know, like the company paying for a commercial for a gay male beer is also like the fact that would exist is also part of the joke. It's not just they're gay. It's the fact that there'd be a fully produced beer for gay men.
You know what it is? You know what it is too? You get a lot of close-up shots of just like dudes in like, you know, banana hammocks, and you just see some dick shots or whatever.
Yeah.
In this commercial, and like it elicits a reaction.
Did he direct this commercial?
No. It was just we just hopped on a tangent there for a second, but to sort of align it with Jackass, like these guys whip out their dicks and balls all the fucking time on Jackass.
There's more penises on screen in Jackass than any movie series ever.
Right. And I fucking like love it to death. And but when I see a penis on screen, it makes me laugh. Like I laugh when I watch like Righteous Gemstones, and like there's like this gratuitous shot of like a dick and balls. It's funny for some reason. And so what I'm saying is, to go back to David Wayne and this gay sex scene, I feel like it's like the joke or the humor is that you're not expecting this one dude to be.
You're not expecting this passionate gay sex scene. That's
right. That's the joke, and that's what's interesting is that I don't think I think they were playing it for humor. Is basically all I'm saying.
Well, the actors aren't. If you watch that scene, they're totally not playing it for. They're not playing it for humor.
Either way, it's very unconventional for the time, which I think also adds to its cult factor, you know, because it's just like unconventional. Definitely. So,
God, the fact that a movie from 2001 is a cult movie is nuts.
There's a lot. No, it makes sense.
No, it's more of a time thing. I'm saying, like, I can't believe that's so long ago. But yeah, David Wayne rules. I've never disliked anything he's made.
I haven't seen that Lampoon movie yet, but I hear good things. He did the Lampoon, the story. Oh, of Lampoon.
I love that. That was great.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
But I never disliked anything.
I have a feeling I know who's on your list. I don't want to spoil it, but I think I know it's going to be your number one for sure.
So I got 3 left. The top 3 are like obvious.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
It is so obvious shit. So I'm just going to say all of them.
Go ahead.
Say all of them, and then
Fine.
You talk about whatever you want. Number 3. Egon himself, Harold Ramis. Duh.
Okay.
I couldn't not. Harold Ramis had to be there. Number 2, and a lot of people don't know Harold Ramis is a comedy director.
Groundhog Day.
I'm saying I don't feel like his reputation is as Egon to a lot of people.
Right.
They don't think of him as the guy who directed like Vacation. You know. 2, Ivan Reitman.
Yeah.
It had to happen. It's one of the reason I asked you to do this.
Obviously.
Ivan Reitman. I mean, he creates so many comedies that I hold dear. It's just a huge part of my life and who I am. And number 1...
I know who your number 1 is. I don't want to spoil it for you.
No,
you
go ahead, guess.
You do it.
Guess.
Mel Brooks.
Yep. How the fuck did you know?
Because how could it not be fucking Mel Brooks?
It had to be Mel Brooks. It's Mel Brooks.
It had to be Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, like when every time on this episode where I've said something's formative for me, literally, dude, my father showed me Mel Brooks when I was just able to comprehend things, like just on the verge of having a conscious mind. Yeah. I didn't even know Frankenstein was a serious horror character for years because I saw Young Frankenstein first. And I just thought Frankenstein was Young Frankenstein. I didn't know. Like, I didn't ever know. But also, putting him at number 1, I was like, when we started, I was like, is that spoof humor? Does that count what we're doing? I was like questioning it and everything, you know? Like, I was like, is that should I just not include spoof humor? I don't know. But it was either him or the Zuckers. I was like, I'm only going to put one. I'm only going to put one or the other. So
right. You didn't have the Zucker on there.
So I had an extensive list of honorable mentions, which I'll just read off. Penelope Spheris, director of Wayne's World, she didn't work as much, and that's probably more because Hollywood's a piece of shit than because of her talent, which she's amazing.
She made 3 incredible punk documentaries.
She
too.
did.
Or two and one about metal.
I love 2. 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, everybody loves 2.
I love 2. But obviously Judd Apatow, it's hard to argue his influence isn't there. John Hughes, he made comedies. You can't, he made a lot of my favorites.
He made dramas, dude. All of his films are dramas. That is a hill I will die on.
They still would go in the comedy section, would they not?
I know, but all of them are dramas with comedy in them. 1 billion trillion gazillion.
I still think they count as comedy.
Name
movies.
A single film that he directed,
Dude,
not produced it.
He
directed.
would call them comedies. He would call them comedies.
Of course he would, but they're all dramas.
Well,
every single
doesn't
movie,
matter, dude.
They're all dramas.
He's still a comedy director. I'm sorry.
I say this with the utmost.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a comedy movie with drama in it.
Drama.
It's a comedy movie with drama.
Uncle Buck, drama.
That's a comedy movie with drama in it.
Fucking Breakfast Club, drama.
I don't need to argue this because I know most people agree with me.
Ferris Bueller is a comedy.
Okay, fine. There you go. Ferris Bueller's a comedy.
Weird Science is a comedy.
That's a comedy. He still
made 2 comedies.
He made several comedies.
Made 2.
Several.
Pretty in Pink, drama.
He's still on Pretty in Pink. I'll give you his drama.
16 Candles, drama.
That's a drama. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a comedy. Anyway, he's still on my list because he should be there.
Fine.
John Landis, that doesn't need any. John Landis, Blues Brothers.
Fine, but fuck John Landis. I hate him so much.
John Landis is an asshole, but
he's more than an asshole. I'm sorry. I have such a thing against John.
I love his movies,
I don't want to. Yes, listen. I love Innocent Blood. I love American Werewolf in London. I love Coming to America. I love Trading Places. But I just want to say that John Landis is the worst human being in the history of the world.
That's
I have to say it.
That's not true.
Fucking no. He's one of them. And so was Woody Allen is also a piece of shit too. But
no, John Landis' son is also an asshole.
And John Landis' son, yeah, but John Landis.
Too.
I fucking hate that guy.
John Landis is an asshole, but he made a bunch of movies that
he made some good movies.
I do really love. Three Amigos. I fucking love it.
Sure, love Three Amigos.
Yeah, he just. I didn't put him in the top 10 for a reason.
I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be weighing it down by mentioning that he's an asshole.
No,
I just can't help myself.
We could do 4 hours on that case alone.
He's
you know what?
Asshole.
Here's the thing is, except for his segment, I fucking love the Twilight Zone movie. But
I love the Twilight Zone movie.
love the Twilight Zone movie. I really do.
I just wanted to. I just can't. You know what it is? I just feel like not enough is said about how much of a fucking dick that guy is, and it just pisses me off. I don't know what it is.
He's a dick.
I just really, really every time like something happens with his son, I love when people realize that the dad is just as fucking bad and just as big of.
The Twitter kids didn't know about the dad. They found out after they were like, "Hey, Max Landis is a piece of shit," and they were like, "Did you Google John Landis?"
Well, yeah, but that's what always. There's always a Twitter kid who always thinks they're hot taking something by if you think Max Landis is bad, you should see what John Landis did.
Yeah.
I mean, John Landis is what's so funny? People are up in arms about what happened with the Alec Baldwin thing and whatnot. It boggles my mind that John Landis
add 2 kids to that. Yeah.
John Landis is not the fact that John Landis is not being villainized, the new villain, the character of the day on Twitter.
I'll tell you why. Because the truth of the matter is, and as much as I agree, is because you can only be villainized if you try to do things. John Landis is retired. If he tried to do something again, they would re-villainize him. But Twitter doesn't give a fuck if you're not doing anything. You have to be doing something. Notice how nobody talks about Kramer anymore? They don't talk about because he went away. He disappeared. He made his giant mistake, and he just disappeared into the ether. They made a few jokes on Curb, and that's about it. If you go away, they stop talking about you. If John Landis was going to be the director of Doctor Strange 3, it would be a problem.
It still boggles my mind that like people are like literally fucking melting. Their minds are melting over what happened with Alec Baldwin and everything, as they should. I mean, it's like an insane situation.
But I don't even think that's remotely the same because it is tragic as fuck. And
it's in the conversation. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm saying it's in the conversation.
I don't view what John Landis. I view what John Landis did as worse. Alec Baldwin.
It is.
He didn't even know what he was. It does.
But that's my point. But that's my point. It's 1,000. What John Landis did was 1,000 times worse. But what it all falls back to is cutting corners. It's cutting corners on a movie set. You know,
this is the most controversial thing I'll say is I can still watch Alec Baldwin stuff without a problem. I understand these things happen.
I can watch both Alec Baldwin and John Landis films without a problem. I just have to note. John Landis is a piece of shit, and I hate him. He's
a piece of shit. He's not an untalented piece of shit, which is sad. But he's he didn't direct Coming to America for a reason. Anyway, Eddie Murphy,
to get back on track.
I think him and Eddie Murphy don't have a good relationship. Anyway,
no, they don't. Huge.
Yeah, they don't.
Huge beef.
I used to watch fucking Beverly Hills Cop 3 as bad as it is all the time on cable. I used to watch.
Yeah, well, that's when Eddie Murphy was flout. No, but Eddie Murphy was flout. No, you know what it was? Landis was begging for that job. I think.
Yeah, he was.
He was hurting for that job, and Eddie Murphy threw him a bone. But Eddie Murphy said some seriously fucked up shit about him in a Playboy magazine. You can look that up. It's like he talked a lot of shit.
Landis is an asshole. Anyway.
All right. Moving on.
Speaking of assholes, Adam McKay, who's not a problematic asshole, but he's known to be an asshole.
Is he an asshole? Really?
Yeah. I've heard that he is. He's not like in any problematic way. I think he's just very like...
He's just a dick.
He's just a dick. He can be a dick.
Oh, I did not know that.
Like a power-hungry dick. It doesn't affect... I think that the reason his comedy works is kind of because he has that. Because he finds like people that think they're better than they are funny, and I think it's a little bit of his self-reflection. Like every one of him and Will Ferrell's characters is like they have unearned confidence, and I think that's a little bit of self-reflection on their part. Anyway, Jay Roach is on my list.
Oh yeah, dude, Jay Roach.
Yeah. I mean, he's made a lot of comedies. Most
Austin
notable
Powers.
Meet the whole trilogy.
Meet the Parents. Yeah.
Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
Jay Roach has made a lot of comedies. He's
great pick. Great honorable mention.
He almost went on my list. Of course, the Zaz team, which is Abrams Zucker. They made Airplane, and honestly, the three of them have also made separate movies from each other, but the combination together was the powerhouse, but I do love like Jim Abrams made like Mafia and shit, and I love that. But
Mafia.
Jerry Zucker made fucking Ghost, and that's not a comedy. It has funny shit in it, but
nope, it's a drama.
That is Ghost is a drama.
It is a drama.
Yeah, but the Zaz team is a classic.
I have three. Oh, sorry. Finish. Go ahead.
Oh, I've got like another five.
Okay, go ahead.
Penny Marshall.
Okay, right, from Laverne and Shirley.
And Shirley, but she was a director, and she made a lot of classic comedies. Mm-hmm. Big, most notably, I think League of Their Own. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's Awakenings, but she was a good director, just straight up, and she also made a lot of great comedies. Rob Reiner. Couldn't go without mentioning him.
Princess Bride, fucking. Oh, it's a great Rob Reiner. I Will.
Oh yeah.
The divorce comedy, the divorce drama. I mean, that is a really good '90s movie with fucking with Randy Quaid, Matthew Modine, Paul Reiser.
Oh wait, no, it's not. Wait,
I Will.
Is that the name? Hold on.
No, we got to look it up.
Hold on. I know what
you're talking. To the back.
Bye Bye Love. It's Bye Bye Love.
Bye Bye Love. Thank you.
I love that movie, dude. That is a
love
great
Bye Bye Love.
Bye Bye Love is great. See all the rest you said on your list except one, Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Oh yeah. Did he do Blank Man?
No, he didn't direct Blank Man, but he made. Let's see. He goes. On my
Don't
list.
Be a Menace. Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
He made that, and
which, by the way, has absolutely no plot. I revisited it. It's fucking hilarious. But I revisited it. I was like, holy shit, this movie has no plot, but I love it.
You could argue that maybe White Chicks and Little Man weren't his strongest, but Right. But I considered. I love the first two Scary movies. I love A Low Down Dirty Shame, and I love I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and of course I love Drinking Your Juice in the Hood.
Yeah.
Keanu Ivory Wayans. He's classic. That's all my honorable mentions. I'm probably forgetting people. I thought about putting like Edgar Wright on there too.
Oh, Edgar Wright is totally
that's a Sam Raimi level thing, like.
No. Edgar Wright totally could have gone on there as a comedy director. I have three.
Okay, give them to me.
Another one is on the same level as Tommy Wiseau, and I'm putting Glenn Danzig, my favorite guy, Uncle Glenn.
I should have known.
Uncle Glenn. It's self-explanatory. I'm not even going to explain it further. If you get it, you get it.
Yeah.
Another one, Larry Charles.
Absolutely.
Larry Charles.
I should have put him on my list.
Bruno Borat. I mean, the dictator. Like he is unbelievable.
Not to mention all the Seinfeld and Curb episodes he's directed. I mean, Larry Charles is he's fucking incredible.
Genius.
I'm mad
he's
I didn't put him on my list.
And my last one is Jeff Tremaine. For fucking Jackass.
Absolutely.
Because Jackass is a brand of comedy talking about, in the grand tradition of slapstick, it will go down as its own generation's Three Stooges.
Absolutely.
That's literally what Jackass means. You think about Stooges and you think about Jackass. And I have to, as I said, the latest Jackass, that dick and balls monster at the beginning, I literally was laughing. I was cackling in my chair. Every time I go to see a Jackass movie, I laugh uncontrollably. But this time I was laughing so loud and so hard. The whole theater was. I was laughing so loud and so hard that I actually started to physically weep. I was physically weeping. And when the snapping turtle comes out to bite his dick, I just fucking died. I literally died. And the other two moments that made me, one moment that made me physically weep, it's so funny. Here's how powerfully funny this moment is. It's in the trailer. We know it's fucking coming. And still, when you watch the whole exchange, I'm just thinking about it's making me laugh. It made me physically weep with laughter is when Poopsie gets bitten in the face by a rattlesnake.
Oh, God, yeah. It's so good.
He's so terrified. He's going, I can't. He's going, he's shaking. He's literally shaking. And this rattlesnake bites him in the face.
I actually really love all the new people. My friend Brad.
All the new people are great.
My friend Brad put it best about Poopies. He said, dude, that guy was genetically made in a lab to be in Jackass. Like, he just perfectly is. I don't know, the way his disposition and reactions are and the way they treat him, it's just perfectly Jackass classic.
And I love that Zach has the nickname Zackass. It's so perfect.
Well, he's been Zackass on Instagram for years. Like he was Zackass.
I did not know that. So
I've been a fan.
He got recruited.
I've been a fan of Zackass for years.
He probably worked his ass. Yeah.
No, he worked his ass off. To
get that audition?
Making content online, doing stunts and stupid videos on Instagram, and he got noticed, and he is now part of it.
I'm so happy for him. That's so beautiful.
Look up Zackass on Instagram. He's been.
I'm going to follow him. I follow Rachel. Rachel Wolfson.
She's so great
too.
She's so wonderful.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
So I had to include Jeff Tremaine on that list.
I want to say something too, because it's not. I actually really think Bad Grandpa is a really funny movie, and it actually is Jeff. I think it's a funny movie, but I also am a huge fan of The Dirt. It's not a comedy. Jeff Tremaine's one narrative movie.
Yeah, I saw The Dirt. Why is that for you? Because I did not have that. I was not a fan.
Motley Crue is my favorite band, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, that explains it. That explains it.
But also I just thought it was a good movie, but I guess it didn't play for everyone apparently.
It did not. You know what it was for me? It just felt like and I don't know, maybe it's just because I I'm rock and roll is rock lore is one of my
it's
hobbies.
What you do. Right.
Yeah, so it's just but it just it kind of plays to me as look at how extreme and crazy we are.
Yeah, but the second half of that movie is pretty them being pathetic. It's all them being losers.
Yeah, but I mean, well,
also I read the book 4 times.
Yeah, it's The Dirt. Well, I mean, The Dirt is like an infamous biography. Like, I get it, but it just, I don't know. I was stoked when I heard that Tremaine was the director for it.
It gets better with rewatches. I don't know.
I think he is, and frankly, you could even put Spike Jonze on there too. Dude, his stuff is more drama. Really.
Like, I don't want to, because I could talk about Jackass for hours. I have a whole spiel about Jackass. Like,
Wes Anderson too could also be on this list for sure.
I thought you meant he could also be involved in Jackass.
No, I would love to see. Oh my God, that's a fucking YouTube video. Wes Anderson's Jackass. Holy shit, that would be funny. Let's wrap this fucker up because it's fucking 3.5 hours.
Yeah, well, I wanted to do 90 minutes, but I don't know why I thought that was feasible. I should have just known. It happens, you know.
Like literally, how did this happen? It was supposed to be 90 minutes long.
I don't know,
like,
dude.
I don't think I did anything that warranted 3.5 hours.
It doesn't matter. See, the great thing about Shrimp Night is I don't care. Like, I do it because I want to talk to the person.
Is this the longest one you've done?
No, I think Stevens was 3:45.
Wow.
And, actually, Jeremy Herbert was like just 2 minutes under 4 hours. So,
I was getting so excited. I thought I had the longest.
Night. No, it doesn't mean anything. But also, like,
I want it to be longer than Steven.
Let me tell you something. When I recorded that Shrimp Night with Jeremy, me and him were in like the thick of the pandemic, and we were just hanging out. It is not, like, it is just I gave him an assignment too, and it's just a very meandering, like, us just hanging out as buddies. It's not like on point. Same with Stevens. When I talk to the people I actually like, actual friends, they're long. It's just what it is, you know? It's just what it is. And I made this show. I have the fucking bandwidth. I can do what I want. I did this so I can do this because all my shows were always so regimented and had always be talking about something very specific. And I want, so I don't care, you know? And also, anyone who listens to this should be interested in your channel, which is Frumess, right? Is it youtube.com/Jeff Frumess or Frumess?
It's youtube.com/Frumess. FRUMESS. That's M as in Mary, ESS. That's FRUMESS. That's youtubeu.com-Frumess.
And I assume that from that page, from the About page, all your links are there, right?
Yeah, you can find all that shit. Just go to Frumess on YouTube. Check me out. YouTube. It's going to be great.
You can, if you go to my YouTube channel and look at my other work playlist, there's a lot of Jeff's stuff that I've been in.
Stop it.
No, I anytime I'm in something or involved in something on YouTube, I add it to that playlist. So,
I've done that. I have a playlist like that.
Yeah,
well,
so
actually.
If you go there, all the stuff, if you want to hear me and Jeff keep talking for not 3.5 hours.
It's probably more like 20 hours of us on record talking. Somewhere.
I think we did like Zack Snyder.
Couple podcasts.
We did Zack Snyder. We did Batman vs Superman, Star Wars.
Hold on, wait. We did 4 hours of Jingle on the Way. We did 3.5 hours of Shrimp.
That's
Night.
not on your YouTube though, right?
No, it's not. It's not. But that's 7.5 hours. Then there's Jingle. Then there's Dunstan Checks In, which is 90 minutes. Then there's Biodome, which is probably about an hour. Then there is Zack Snyder's Justice League. There's WandaVision. There's The Matrix.
That's right. You asked me to be on because of WandaVision, and we ended up talking about Batman for like 2 hours.
I literally said, hey, come on. But I literally talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm looking at it. It's WandaVision, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Prelude, Batman vs Superman, Men of Steel, and then it was you put Dunstan Checks In. That's actually on your channel.
Those two podcasts are on my channel, but not Jingle All the Way.
Not Jingle All the Way. Army of the Dead.
I put those on because Nate is not on YouTube, so I just wanted to have
Are you gonna put you put Jingle All the Way on there at some point?
At some point I'll probably put Jingle All the Way on there just because I usually wait before I do it. Like I wait like a window.
You can also wait till like Christmas.
Upload it.
Yeah. Then we did the Star Wars trilogy work? You just
No,
you did
that's a clip. That's a clip. Yeah.
Right, and then we did Nick Cage, and then we did Cobra Kai. And
And Nick Cage and Cobra Kai and Matrix. Yeah,
on this playlist on my channel, the top 3 things are Matrix, Nick Cage, Cobra Kai, with Jeff Frumess. So, if you want just specifically Bob and Jeff, my channel, go to the Other Work playlist. If you want as much Jeff as you can handle, youtube.com/Frumess.
Be careful what you wish for, guys, because there's more Jeff. There's enough Jeff to go around. Yeah, it's every which way.
I just imagine that you're talking constantly in your life when you're not having a mic around you.
Actually, serious confession, I also keep a video journal, which I started in 2009, and it's a way just on my first. I did it on my computer in photo booth, and I literally talk at the camera. One time I fell asleep with the camera on, and it's 9.5 hours of me sleeping in a Virginia hotel room.
You're just recording. You're not showing people that? You're just...
Okay, so I'll explain. Basically, I do keep written journals sometimes, but I find that my thoughts come so quickly that it's a lot to write down.
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of like about the art of, there's an art to journaling in the same way that like there's like an art to like podcasting or anything else. Like when you journal, you're more selective about the words you use. Like you don't just talk, you think about what you want to say and you write it in the journal, like there's like a bit of a filter when it comes out as opposed to when you speak. The reason I started the video journal was because it was just easy for me to turn on the camera and just start sharing my thoughts. And it could be anything from super mundane to super, personal things. But it is being recorded for a reason. And I always address the journal as video journal. I call it video journal, but the person I'm speaking to is future Jeff. That's the ultimate truth.
Okay, so the audience is yourself later.
The audience is myself later. And what has happened many times over the years, and again, like I said, I've been keeping this for almost 12 years. I mean, there is hours and hours and hours.
I'm not laughing at you, journaling.
No, I know you're not.
I'm laughing because as much Jeff as there is on your YouTube channel,
there's even more.
To think that there's like an unlimited amount that's not even to the public.
There's even more off. And it's for nobody but future Jeff. And I'll tell you,
that's amazing.
Well, but it's an incredible therapeutic tool because what happens is, first of all, I can tell you what I was wearing, like what I looked like on any given day that I've done the journal, which is so like trippy in and of itself. I could tell you what time it was. I could tell you what the weather was like outside. You know what I mean? Like that's interesting. Yeah. Plus, when you do that sort of thing, there are all sorts of minute little details that you just don't remember. And then you hear yourself talk about something and you instantaneously remember that thing. And it's so fucking trippy.
That's crazy.
But the greatest thing, the therapeutic benefit is that when you are a year away or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years away from an event and you, the future self of you, is looking back on something, you either have an answer or you have a deeper understanding of the situation in the future than you do in the past. Yeah. And so it becomes incredibly cathartic to know, and you can almost empathize with the past self. And the past self, I know this sounds really weird, is almost like an inner child to an extent. It's a younger version, even if it's only a year younger. It's a younger version with less experience than the version that's looking at this thing. And therefore you can sort of like really gain insight, especially like as things unravel. You're like, oh, well, that didn't work out that well. And no wonder I was feeling this way when this happened. Or, there's just all sorts of stuff. It can make you feel really, it can make me remember, like, for instance, when things get more complicated now, like I think back to and then I look at a video journal, I'm like, holy shit, life was so much simpler then. And it makes me realize that when I'm like, but at the time I didn't think it was simpler. I thought it was more complicated.
Right.
So it makes you remember that, like, however like crazy you think your life is in that given moment, that actually you should try and enjoy it as much as you can, because you
It's
don't
always
know.
going to get more complicated.
It's always going to get more complicated, or it could get more complicated. And the goal is to just remain present, because at the end of the day, being in the present is all I have. You know, it's all I am guaranteed is to be in the present. So I always try, and it's something I strive for on a daily basis, and I don't always succeed. I always try to be as happy and content as possible in the day, not necessarily because I am, but because I think about the past and I think about the future and I think about how it may not be the way that things are right now. And it's the same thing with bubbles. Like, you don't realize sometimes when you're in a bubble, and that when the bubble pops and life changes in some way, shape, or form, and you feel sad for what is no longer around, whether it's a circle of friends or a work situation or a project or whatever it might be. And so it makes you more grateful and happy and present in the day, which is how it should be, because all we're ever guaranteed is the now. So
this is that's Jeff, that's very heartwarming, I want to say. Like,
thank you.
Knowing that you watch videos you make videos for yourself and watch them for yourself to find introspection, and you're doing it all without telling people about it.
I never talk about this unless it comes up.
Thank you for admitting it on the podcast. I can't believe that. But
it's just something that I've always done. It's just something that I've always done. And again, you know, it's weird.
Are you doing it with is this what you look like in the videos right now? Like when you're journaling? Whatever you're wearing. Okay.
So you know what I've been doing lately? I do it every morning when I drive to work. I call them posts sometimes, and I just check in. And I say, hey, what's up? This is what's going on. This is what I'm thinking about. I did a great show with Bob the other day. I wonder what's going to happen right now in life. I'm like unsure of the future, blah, 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 blah. Or you know what it is? It's almost like having a free therapist, because this is what you would do with a therapist.
Right.
You go and you would pay someone to tell them your problems. And what's so beautiful about the video journal is that it's like this unjudgmental thing. It's an inanimate object. It's not real. And yet at the same time, it's like you're talking to someone. And so one day I realized, I was like, am I schizophrenic that I do this sort of thing? And I'm like, no, it's like weird. It's almost like I'm talking to the future version of myself that will watch this one day whenever they're feeling nostalgic or in need of some sort of like introspective. Usually what I will do is I once a year in December, I'll look back on where I was a year before. I like to do that. So I'll like see where things are at the end of the year, and I'll sum up the year again to myself. I don't do it on Facebook. You see, everybody does those posts on Facebook. I do that, but I do it privately, and then I review it the year prior, and I go, that's interesting about how that didn't play out. That did play out. And what it does is it also gives me reference. It gives me life reference, so that when I'm like, when something is like scary or crazy or whatever, or like, I don't know, like I have reference. I'm like, okay, I've felt this way in the past. Here's an example of it. And I came out the other side and I'm okay. And I just need to like remember that this too shall pass. I need to hang on to my seat. Don't do anything crazy or stupid that you would regret. And just like get through the fucking day and just be, do your thing.
Do you log these on a hard drive with dates?
Well, the metadata is already there. I used to in like the first two or 3 years, I used to say the fucking date, and I just got tired of doing that.
You should just, you know what if I would do if I were you? I would almost just like start a private YouTube channel and just with my cell phone live stream straight from my phone, and that way it would just have them in order forever.
All of this stuff is off the internet for a very important reason, because it'd
be private.
For me, like, it's for the best that these things. I just want them to stay,
because then they'll know where the bodies are.
Yeah, I want them. Yeah. I just want them to stay on the. But there's literally hours and hours. But if you want to see one of them, I did upload one because I was doing a video journal, and like I said, I fell asleep with the camera on, and it's literally me in a West Virginia hotel room sleeping for 9 hours.
It's on your channel?
It's on my channel. I uploaded it, and it's literally a video of me sleeping for 9 hours, and you can hear me fart sometimes. It's hilarious.
What what's it called?
Hold on, I'll find it for you right now.
You uploaded a 9-hour video of you sleeping.
Yes. Because I just thought it was hilarious.
Can I say a video I really appreciated was how to not test special effects for movies, because it's like this clip of you, and I like, you look so not. Now I've only known you for like 2 years at most.
Yeah.
And you look so young, and I just loved the.
That's from 2010, and that steak, I was stabbing a giant vampire bat that I had paper mached together, and I was unsure how to make the effect work. And
look at that camera,
I
too.
just that is a tape.
XH81?
Yes, that's exactly what that is, and
I can't believe I recognized
many interviews. Yep, it was a great fucking camera.
I would love to have one still.
You know what? I wish I still had. Well, I do, but I just don't want to use tape anymore. Yeah, I don't use tape.
Look at a young Jeff though. That's why. I
hold on, I'm trying to find this video. It's like haunted. It should say here. I'm searching the word haunted. We'll bring it up. Let's see here.
Are you just trying to pad this out to be longer than everyone else?
What, this podcast?
This actual podcast?
No, we just started talking about something, and I completely got distracted.
I'm kidding. Really, I'm totally joking. But
I really do. It really is time to end this. But hold on, let me just see if I can find this. It's maybe Ghost. I try to make a clickbait thing out of it with I said do something with Ghost maybe. Yeah, it is straight up 9 hours long though, and it's from 2012, so it's 10 years ago. And I woke up and I go, holy shit, was the camera recording the whole time? And it totally fucking was. And I scrubbed through it because I wanted to see if there was any like weird sounds, and there's like sporadically there are some really weird sounds, but what the fuck did I call it? Noises maybe. Let me see, noises.
And this is on your channel.
Yeah, it's on my channel. I just don't remember here it is. Creepy noises as Jeff sleeps in a motel on July 6, 2012 in Bluefield, West Virginia, and it has 81 views, and it's 9 hours and 33 minutes long. And I wrote clickbait. I wrote, "Can you hear the ghost noises?" And I'm putting it in the comments of our thing right now. And what's funny is,
I found it. I already found it.
Oh, you found it? Yeah. And what's so funny about it is that is my video journal. That's the only video journal that's been uploaded. And like I said, that was me right before I went to bed. I was doing a video journal, and what happened was I literally fell asleep in the middle of fucking talking.
Does it bother you watching yourself sleep? Like, I hate seeing a video of myself sleep because it makes me see how vulnerable we are when we sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fucking weird, dude.
Like, I know that's like a dark thing to say. Whenever I see a video of myself sleeping, right, very rarely have I, but it always makes me think like at any moment something could happen, and I'm totally unaware of it. You know?
You know what it is? It's an Andy Warhol kind of movie, because this is what Andy Warhol would do.
Like, if he made Empire, you could call this sleep.
I really should just change it to just sleep,
and then put it on IMDb and just call it, dude.
Yeah, it's a 9.5 hour film.
Jeff, you should submit this to festivals. Nobody will accept it.
Oh my God. It's like the most unwatchable movie. But, and by the way, if you look at my profile, not to be vain here, but I was a lot skinnier here, and you can really see how much of a schnozola I had, my long nose. But look at that thick, luxurious hairline. I was going to say,
your hair is not falling out. That's for sure.
Hair is on fucking point.
Yeah.
But that nose is fucking out of control. And yeah, that's in a seedy fucking. That was right before I went on tour with a punk band, and we went from Moscow to California. And there's terabytes of footage there. I shot hours and hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours of footage that will never see the light of day either, for a lot of different reasons.
Dude, Jeff, that's amazing. I just love a lot. I love the idea of the guy who makes the most content that of all people I know is making more content,
even more
off screen, for himself.
And in all honesty, if I were like, that's the stuff that would have I would have like 100,000 subscribers if I uploaded those videos.
You think so?
Easily. Oh my God, yes, I think so. I think people would love to fucking watch that shit because it's like a fucking personal, raw, like journal sort of situation. I think it would.
Well, you
I
would have
think
turned like
attract
it would have
attention.
became your own personal Truman Show.
It would have, and
Yeah.
I honestly thought about like how could I do like a public version of this, but it's like a very private thing that I uploaded that almost a year ago. I uploaded that on February 22nd, 2021. That 9.5 hour sleep video.
So I'm looking at the other shrimp nights real quick.
Yeah.
Steven Stahl, the great Steven Stahl, Corn Man himself,
Yeah.
was 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Okay, so we just beat him.
We just beat him. You beat him. Jeremy Herbert.
Eat it, Steven.
Jeremy Herbert, who's, I believe, screening with you at the halfway to
He
Genre
sure
Blast.
is. He sure is.
He did 3 hours, 53 minutes, and 13 seconds.
So, like, I think we need to talk for another 10 minutes.
Are you? I mean,
go.
if you really, this is. I mean, you can. We could do
No,
that.
but on principle, no, on principle, we're
I'll
going to
do
do
it.
it right now.
I don't think. I don't think
I want
Jeremy
the-
actually cares about the throne. So you can keep. You can take
No,
it.
we're gonna. No, I'm gonna. If I'm here, what's another fucking 10 minutes?
That's true. You're right.
What's another 10 minutes? I've been trying to slog through this fucking zombie Netflix show, Korean Netflix show. It's just, God, the episodes are like fucking 60 minutes long. They're so long. And I just want to get to the Peacemaker show.
Peacemaker's
And
so fucking good. Let me tell
I
you.
hear such good things.
Now,
I watch Euphoria.
James Gunn. I could have maybe even put him on the list. He makes comedy.
Easily could have put him on the list.
See, it was an impossible task.
Is
I could've
Slither
never
a
done
comedy? Yes.
it. It has comedy in it. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that is ironic. You are right. There's even, for all the content that I put out in the world, there's actually even more of it. And it's like, because each one of those journals is like fucking anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes long at its stretch.
Wait, there is something I want to ask you.
What?
And it comes back to what we were talking about at the beginning. What kind of traction? And this is anyone listen to this now. It's like, what are they doing? What kind of we're just all over the place. What kind of traction does your podcast feed get? Does it get any?
So this is the weirdest thing ever. I somehow, like, it all depends, and I don't know what the retention is. I don't look at the metrics, but I have 7,500 views on my Spotify, on all my podcast views. I have 7,500 views, roughly, somewhere around there.
Just on Spotify or on just your whole feed?
Just on whatever podcast outlets they're on.
You mean on Anchor? It tells you that.
On Anchor, it gives me a total of 7,500. Like, I don't market those at all. Like, I do not. That's an afterthought.
Yeah, that's just
I
like
upload it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just upload it so it's there, and I occasionally mention in the YouTube channel, "Hey, we're on Spotify," and that's it. And so I'm just like, I keep pushing it because I did have a sponsored ad. I was making money, and then ad finished.
How'd you get video on that? They offered it to you, or you had to?
They offered it to me. It's a beta thing, and they gave it to me. And then, like I said, it was also an afterthought to just start posting the clips, because now Spotify is like the single biggest place where people listen to shit.
I think I think Apple's still the most I get listens from.
It alternates. Sometimes it's Spotify and sometimes it's Apple for me.
6 overview. Let me see. Download sources. So I have 75,000 downloads on all my feeds. Like, if you add them all up.
Gotcha.
23% is Apple Podcasts. 10% is iTunes. I don't even know the difference.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is either.
7.4% is Spotify, and 5.9% is Google, and then there's just a bunch of others that are much less.
So I'm 7,569. So I have about 10% of what you have.
Yeah.
I have 124 unique listeners, and I have a 20 listener estimated audience. And then my most listened to podcast was Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers. 746 plays. And Right now, Spotify 46% and Apple Podcasts is 38%. But that flips from time to time, as you can see. They're very comparable.
So, I was gonna say, one of the reasons, so we both did things in reverse. Like it's funny to me, like you're putting your YouTube audio on your podcast as a backup, and the reason I made my own personal channel for my podcast on YouTube was as a backup. And the funny thing is you want to know the dark reason I did that, Jeff? And this is for anyone that has the guts to listen to this for 3 hours and 49 minutes. Is the dark reason is because I figure that one day, if this doesn't happen, one day I could die. And I might not be podcasting, or I might forget to pay the podcasting fee on the host. And if I do, they'll take it all down.
Son of a bitch. So
in my mind, uploading it to YouTube, at least there's the fail-safe of it's always available somewhere in case something happens to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because eventually the feed would go dead because I wouldn't be paying for it. You got to figure out
something to make, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough.
I started on Podbean. Podbean's never given me a problem. I could switch to Anchor, but I don't. I know you're on Anchor.
I used to listen to Podbean.
Well, I pay for Podbean about $9 a month, and it's worth it. I've read some stuff about Anchor. Once you move to Anchor, moving off of it is impossible. It's really hard. I know it's free. If I started there, I would do it. But I'm not.
Nate gave me the idea to do Anchor, but I got to tell you, Anchor has subsidized my Melon Studio because the money that I made from Anchor,
right, then
paid for the Anchor. I mean the Melon streaming, or went to it. It didn't pay for it fully, but and now I'm waiting. I just emailed them again because I want to get my next ad going because all of my stuff has ad placement ready to go. I have up to 3 ad placements on each podcast that I do. And it's just it's like leaving money off the table on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of them.
Okay.
On Google Cast. I'm on 7 different platforms total. I'm on
but you're hosting from Anchor though, right?
I'm hosting from Anchor. I don't know how it works exactly, but I'm on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, yeah, Stitcher. You have to enter that stuff manually too. They don't just automatically do it. They put you on 5.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I don't like about Anchor is the metrics are very basic. They don't give you a lot of detailed sort of stuff. But listen, considering that it's free, it's fucking incredible. All the stuff you could do.
So the reason I don't want to import it over there too is I've never had a good experience with doing that, importing an RSS feed to another host. So
yeah,
I've learned my lesson. I'm just I don't want to fuck up everything I got going. So
no, don't. Yeah. I mean, no, you shouldn't fuck up everything you got going.
Yeah. But I was trying to tell you that outside of that, the dark reason I put stuff on YouTube is that was the reason. It's because that's why I don't push the YouTube that much, and that I don't expect the YouTube to get. It does have some videos that have actually gone a little bit. I have 30,000 on a few videos, but I don't push that because to me that is literally the backup. That is.
I get it, dude. I totally get it. And what's funny? Even when I'm recording, sometimes what I'll do. For instance, because space can be an issue. So what I'll do is I will use Melon just like you would use this. Fucking what are we on right now? Zoom.
Yeah.
I'll record my video and I will also make sure that I'm streaming privately to YouTube as a backup. So it's an additional cloud backup because they automatically delete the full file.
I wonder, this can't be interesting for anyone to listen to.
Dude, everybody will find something interesting.
So remember I told you I had a copyright strike on my channel?
Yeah.
Because of that, for some reason, it's interesting that you didn't have this problem. Because of that, I don't want to, so it doesn't really matter, but I can't stream from outside sources to that channel. I can do it to other channels, but it tells me I don't have permission, even though I do. I do, but ever since the copyright strike, I can't go.
My friend Chris had the same issue. I did not have that issue.
Did he fix it?
No, actually, his entire channel got deleted.
Oh, well, I got the copyright strike removed.
Yeah.
I got it removed, but now it won't let me stream from... I can't stream from Zoom or Melon to that channel.
That's ridiculous.
It's fine. That's not a streaming channel. That's not for that. That's for my like short films and videos and stuff. But it's weird that I can't because I did it. I can do it easily to my Thundergrunt channel. So this stuff is all such a mess, isn't it? It's all such a mess.
It's a mess, and yet at the same time,
amazing.
if you figure out how to like not automate your workflow, but like find a workflow that like where everything branches off into like a proper pathway. Like it all starts for me on Melon. It goes out to all the different things. Then it gets downloaded and chopped up into clips. And then that like there's like secondary workflows and like everything finds its place. And it's just about flooding your name as much as possible on the internet.
Well, I think assuming I forget when we exactly started, but I think you actually should be the longest Shrimp Night right now.
Well, we should go to 4 hours because we're.
I mean, we might as well. Once
we
it
have
hits
to
midnight,
make it official. We are literally stopping this as soon as this hits 4 hours. Like it has to stop.
Okay, that's fine. What I was gonna say. Whatever. At this point, I'm fine. We've already plugged your stuff, so whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So if everyone in Thundergrunt that's involved, because my friends are involved with Thundergrunt, it's not just me. If all of them quit on me, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a Frumess. If everybody quits on me, if everyone quits on me, I'm going to stop all. I'm going to turn Thundergrunt just to be one show. It's me talking, and I'm going to stream directly to that channel. And that's going to be what it is if everyone else quits on me.
I mean, listen, I think that's a great idea, but even if they don't quit on you, I don't know why you're not doing this already.
Because I don't want.
Like I know,
Jeff, I don't want to talk that much. I don't want to do that. I don't
know,
have it.
But like you're so good at it.
This is enough for me for the week. It is, dude. I'm not Jeff Frumess, man. You're an all-time hitter, dude. I can't do this.
To quote M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie, for me, it was a Tuesday. Remember, when he's talking to Chun-Li, and she's like talking about like, for you, it was the most important day of your life. And for me, it was a Tuesday. And it is actually Tuesday.
Yeah.
His performance in that is fucking magnum.
Shit. I was gonna say, but I can't. I don't want to speak 4 nights of the week. I can't do that. That's not me. I respect that you do it. I don't have anything to say that much. I want to, I don't like. I get it, but
the other work suffers though. Like, there's so many other things that like I should be doing. That like,
I think one thing before we go, we both should promise ourselves is the two of us. We need to finish our 72-hour debacle things and put them online.
Well, that's obvious. That's totally going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Both of us should hound each other about finishing them.
We will.
To get them on YouTube. They need to be on YouTube.
So my co-star Jack, who you've met,
yes,
briefly, he's an animator, and he wants to like. We talked about him like animating some stuff and throwing it in there, just to like add a little something to it.
Yeah.
So that'll take a little bit of time. I want it. Like I said, some of like the sounds aren't where they're supposed to be because I literally was editing this as fast as I fucking could, and like I noticed when it was playing back, I'm like, whoa, that like a bunch of sound got shifted over. So I gotta like fucking figure all that out.
Yeah.
But I will say this: my personal favorite part of that fucking thing is actually the scenes with the man in black, Greg, the bank robber who has the tattoo. When we go to his apartment and like it's super cinema verite, and like he says he's gonna like at 4 o'clock he's gonna make the hit. That was so much fun to shoot because all of that stuff was like that in there, and it was found production value, and I loved shooting that with Greg. It was so fucking awesome. I want to do more with it.
I think your subscribers will enjoy it. I really do.
I think they will. The Patreons have seen it already. They've seen that version. No one's seen but they'll be the longer version. All right, final minute. How could we?
Did we start at exactly 8? Did we?
I don't know. Yes, we had to because it's 11:59 and it's 3 hours and 59 seconds. And how could I possibly not?
Zoom doesn't give me a recording time.
Oh, I see 3 hours and 59 minutes and 20 seconds. And here's what's funny. Bob, here's what's really funny. I literally made a joke about 3 to 4 hours, and we actually did it completely by accident. So how could we not go to 4 hours?
No, it had the fact that the longest episode is the Jeff Frumess episode. That's
right, baby. It had to be me.
You can tell Jeremy you crushed him.
Yeah.
And Steven. You crushed Steven and Jeremy.
This is what I do, man. This is what I do.
Of course,
I'm on my way.
They weren't aiming for it. It just happened.
I know. They're like, okay, Jeff, great. You have the longest stream, Jeff. Very cool.
Good job, Jeff.
Good job. You did it.
Yeah. The two of them. There it is.
We've been talking for 4 fucking hours.
4 hours. And now we just do another quick 4 hours and we're done.
All right, let's do it. Fucking 4 a.m. No, I have to wake up.
That's fine.
All right,
fine.
This was
Jeff,
so much fun.
Everybody
Thank you.
go to youtube.com/Frumess. If you want to watch videos with me and Jeff, you can go to my channel, look at the other work playlist. And Jeff, I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
I still say that we've only met once in person, but I still feel like I know you so well.
Oh, well, absolutely, 100%.
I'm so happy to know you, and
I'm happy to know you as well, Bob.
And whenever you need a guest, you just let me know because I'll be.
Oh, Bob, always. This was a good payback because you've done a whole bunch of hours on mine, and now I've done 4
hours. I did it all at once. I was like, I'll just repay Jeff all at once with 4 hours.
It's perfect.
I did it all at once.
It's perfect. It was perfect.
All right, man. Get some sleep.
I'm burnt. Yeah, I'm out.
See you later, dude.
Peace out.
Peace.